welcome to the 2024 Canadian Esports Championships out on Zwift. I'm Nathan Guerra. Dave Toll sat next to me. We are your hosts today. This weekend, we are crowning national championships across Masters, Juniors, and U27, as well as the Elite broadcast that is going to be live in front of you today. I'm super excited about it. We'll be talking about the course. We'll be looking at some highlights that went down from yesterday, and then we'll get right on into the Elite racing. But Dave, first and foremost, super excited to be doing another national championship.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, there is no doubt, Nathan, that Canada is a nation that has always punched above its weight in the world of cycling, and this is a great opportunity to figure out who the big esports stars are. I think I have an idea, but we're going to let them prove it out here. As I saw a lot of chatter about this race, the excitement has been building for the last couple of weeks, so it's time to get it on.
It is. Yesterday, now, we had Masters racing, and we're going to get right into some highlights. It was a lot of fun watching those back and getting all of the highlights ready for you. So let's take a look at it. They took on 3 laps yesterday of Rolling Highlands. And in the Women's Masters, it was a mass start together between the 35 to 44, 45 to 54, and the 55 to 64 and 65 plus. From the get-go, it was a lot of attacks actually coming from what you will see is the B or green jerseys there for the 45 to 54 category. And it was Griffin and Rossignol actually over the top of the corkscrew climb in the Scotland Rolling Highlands, pushing the pace often. Also, another big pusher of the pace often was Jen Ward that was able to push things at about that 13K marker right alongside the next esports rider, Morgan Cabot. But as you can see, over and over again, things came back together. Dave, I think this really goes to show the level of talent between all of the age groups in this specific Masters race.
Yeah, absolutely, Nathan. This is a really challenging, a world championship quality course that perfectly suits the quality of racing that we've got here at our Canadian Nationals. And you could see that aggressive racing, but controlled as well. And that's something that really speaks to the quality of the racing that we saw throughout the day yesterday.
Yeah, Eloidai here, one of the riders I think that was trying, as you can see there, a little bit of frustration to break things apart before the final sprint that we get into here between all of the ladies across all these categories here. Morgan leading it out, as you can see, Jennifer Ward leading it out all in, going very early with the power up, full on 500 meters out, unable to really get any kind of distance. Ended up being a lead out actually for Burgess. It seemed to be that might have taken the overall across all of the categories, but it was not to be because coming strong was Rossignol, followed very closely, interesting enough, by Champagne from Optimum, and it was actually going to be in the blue kit there from the 55 to 64 category. Champagne taking the overall, but the national championship going to Champagne, and then Rossignol and Lindsay Burgess. So that was the results there for the ladies. Let's go ahead and take a look at how things then did play out for the 65 plus. And it was 2 that showed up on the day, and it was going to be Tequilitz here that was able to walk away from Delgatti that at the end of the day to take down her national championship. So Dave, for the results though, across this, lots of good racing there yesterday for the Women's Masters.
Yeah, let's take a look at our results now, and you can see that it's Lindsay Burgess there for the FSC team on top of the table. It was a 1-second advantage she had at the line over Morgan Cabot, the next presented by Insured Rider, with Jennifer Ward coming through in 3rd. So this is our provisional results that we're looking at, with Elodie Berthelier in 4th, Renee Ansu in 5th, Kiera Fitzgerald 6th, Joanne Hasty in 7th, and Alicia Borsoy. There are 2 synergy riders there finding the top 8. So, Nathan, could we quickly explain the jersey colors and what we're doing there? It's something unique to our Canadian National Championships.
Yeah, for those jerseys, it is going to be for the ladies on the A category. 35 to 44 is what we are looking at right now. And then 40 for the A category. The B category was that. Go ahead, Dave.
The colors
Yeah,
of the
so
jerseys then? So is the A's, the B's, the C's, they're all in that same age group?
exactly.
All right. So taking a look now, it's 3 laps of racing out here on Scottish Highlands that we're looking at another breakaway Bray effort. This is actually another look at what we just watched there.
Yeah, so then for the 45 to 54 Masters women, Josie Rezignol is going to be taking it down at the top, and Tammy Nishimura in second place. Celine Griffin in third for Electric Spirit Co. It's going to be Deborah Parker from Kiss RT in fourth. Linda McHugh in fifth for WCC. In sixth place, Susan Clark for Coalition. Jill Sarginson in seventh place for Synergy, Claire Victoria in eighth, and it's going to be Ange Quap in ninth for Synergy, and Karen Abbott coming across in 10th place. That's your top 10 for the women 45 to 54. Dave, take it away for our Masters 55 to 64.
Yeah, Natalie Champagne on top of the table there for the Optimum team. This is our 55 to 64 women that we're looking at. Diane Bowman ends up for Aeonian in second, taking the silver. Bronze medal for Tracy Moore of the BW team. Jill Vale in third, another one of the next insured riders, and Pauline Cound rounding out our top 5 here.
And again, in the 65 plus Masters women, Anna Tikulitz taking it down, followed up by Doreen Delgatti. That is your highlights for the women's Masters racing. Let's jump on over, though, to the men's highlights for the 35 to 44. Things were hot right from the get-go, as it was Gavilis from HPL Cycling on the move, just 2.4 kilometers in. And that was the story from the day. This was intense racing from the get-go. First time up on the top of the breakaway Bray, it was Taylor from backpedal up and over the top there trying to get away. It was followed up by Langevin. I think there were a couple of riders that really did not want to come down to a sprint. Also, through the postcard section, Luc Jabot over and over again trying to make this separation happening, always to be covered time and again by Dan Ziegler, actually, who is looking to close things down right alongside of Barnhorst. Again, as you can see here, coming on through at 18K, Jubot going on the postcard section. Dave, these guys did not want it to come down to a sprint, and I think there were definitely riders sitting in and waiting to get that sprint happening in the end, wanting it to be a bunch.
Taking a look then at the group here, yeah, a lot of riders here seem to be focusing on Gilbeau. Luc Gilbeau comes in, I would say, as the big danger man here. And with that kind of a target on your back, you can see that focus now is really shifting as we get late into the race. This was a very dangerous attack that they neutralize here coming into the final, let's call it 8K here.
Yeah, Gavilis gave a one last-ditch effort there. Got about, for a solid K, got about 10 seconds, but did not make it happen in the final lap there. Langevin then, at about 25K, did something similar, was unable to make it happen. Also here, Langevin going again through the final corkscrew with only about 2 kilometers to go, full-on risk, throwing the power down to try and get that separation. Did not have a group sprint, was not to be all back together. Then it was Kyle Fry, actually. Oh, man, this was a 1K to go burner. He really threw it all down and just was not quite able to hang on, as you can see here in just a moment. With about 600 meters to go, the story was not going to be the success of a 1K to go break. As he's caught, it was actually going to be Bison who brought everybody back together, but it wasn't going to be for Bison doing all the work for the group, interestingly enough, as it was going to be Frichette here coming on through. I thought that he had it from Optimum with the early power up and the feather, but no, Ziegler comes big power late in the race and completely stampedes.
Yeah, and it shows you it's not over till it's over. We'll go take a look at the back end API, but he makes it clear that we don't need to with that last surge there. That's how you find a podium spot as well, as we take a look at quite a finale out here. This is our men 35-44 done and dusted, as we've got Dan Ziegler on top of the table for the Edmonton Echelon team. Nice alliteration there as well. Carl Frechette for Optimum taking second, and Luc Gilbeau, after a huge effort for the SWAT team, ends up with the bronze medal today in our Canadian Championship. It's Eric Barhorst of the Dirt team in fourth, Devin Stewart for fifth, Kaj Johnson in sixth, Jonathan Bisson in seventh, Jesse Bauer for eighth today, Matthew Downs in ninth, and Mike Javelis in 10th place. So that's your top 10 provisional for our men 35-44. Always a really competitive group at our Canadian Esports Championship. All of this racing taking place yesterday, leading into today's elite men and women.
Yeah, and then in with our next category, that will be our 45 to 50, our 55 to 64, as we got into this racing 45 to 54, everybody. Dawes on the attack. As you can see, it was early and often coming from Dawes 5K in. Brandegren, though, was the rider that we saw just a moment ago in the live cams, continued to try and bring things back. It wasn't until lap 2 that Greg Boulot from Absquay Finesse, presented by Wolf, that started really making any kind of attacks, as you can see here at the 14K marker on the second time over the top of the breakaway Bray. This did get plenty of response from the pack, and it was just barely brought back. I thought perhaps that this was going to get away with about 4 or 5 riders, with Caron, Perot, Dumper, as well as Donnelly from the Rhinos Racing. But no, it was going to be De Borger who put in a big effort actually to bring that pack back. As you can see, sprint after sprint that he was making just to make contact. And just as he made contact, the story of the day, Dawes and Boulot over and over again making the attacks.
They were hitting it so hard on the front here. It just seemed like it was only a matter of time until someone could split this group up. This might have been the most aggressive racing that we saw all day yesterday here from this older master men's group. But you can see they were just dropping bombs left, right, and center.
Yeah, our 45 to 54 was absolutely mayhem. Donnelly, I would say this is the man who is continually on the closing the gaps over and over again, bringing everything back together. And eventually you ended up with a group of 7 off the front as they were making their way through halfway marker. From there, Dawes again on the attack, and it was not going to be successful because of the continuance of Dumper as well as Donnelly to bring it back over and over and over again. Boulot as well as Dawes, for sure, the aggressors on the day. Coming into the final K here, though, as you can see, leading it out again, the aggressor on the day from District Bikes, Dawes on the front, very early to go here. Donnelly following from the riders, Dumper there from OMG, coming right on through. Then it's going to be Boulot now trying to come through. Caron, big attack. Arrow power up over the top. This is an early go here again, Dave, and it does not seem to be the successful way to go because Perot's coming on hot.
This finish line always seems to set a trap for riders and gets them to sprint too early. As you can see, just keeping that powder dry, so hard to do, but this is going to be the surge for the national championship. That's how you Canuck up. That's how you win a Maple Leaf jersey right there, as it is done and dusted. So you can see Sebastian timing that perfectly, knowing exactly when to lay down that trump card as Sebastian Perot for SWAT. Nice to see that team get another national championship in Maple Leaf jersey that goes along with it. Greg Boyot there for Absquay Finesse, presented by Wolf in second, and Jamie Dumper, the OMG rider, in third. It's going to be Sean Donnelly for fourth, Vincent Caron for fifth, Mark Dawes in sixth today, Peter Smith for seventh, Michael De Borger in eighth, Kevin Ford for ninth, and Brian Van de Grient in 10th place. That's our Mastermen 45 to 54. That's provisional results that we're looking at there. So we'll keep moving through. It was a big, big day of racing in Canada, our virtual esports national championships. And you could see that all of the categories, Nathan, were very well attended as we take a look at the breakaway Bray.
And it is going to be our 55 to 64 Masters men with Bruce Bird off the front right from the get-go, 2.1 kilometers in, just went for it. big attack. He ended up actually riding in solo to win his national championships the entire 3 laps, 55-64, massive gap. So it was a battle from second with A. Chan here making moves on the final. It really just closed down over and over again. It wasn't until this final corkscrew with just a couple of K to go that Chan really was able to make something happen with OTR, his teammate, on his wheel.
I have to be honest, Nathan, I had no idea that Bruce Bird was even over 40 years old, let alone in this 55-plus category. He is an elite star in esports, so got to give credit to the guys that end up on the podium with him here. Albert Chan, great job. Bruce Bird, champion again. That status unlocked long ago for the draft rider, but Albert Chan, that's a big silver medal today for Albert as he holds on. It's almost like a second solo breakaway as Patrick Alexandre of Galaxy ends up in third for the bronze medal. Again, this is our men 55-64 with Pete Holzulter in fourth, Mitch Bauer for fifth, Ron Gallo sixth, Mark Adams for seventh, and Mark Bennett rounds out your top 8 for men 55-64 here for our Canadian Championship.
And on over to our 65 plus. The first go was at the 5K mark with Dupius there making the move. Desrosier right on the wheel, as well as Zukowski from HPL. Reed was able to make the move with him, but it was going to be Wall as well as Van Sevenit that fell off the back. Bellinger trying to hang on as Desrosiers did what was kind of predictable after the first time through. Desrosiers on a big move, 9 watts per kilogram. Bellinger not able to hang on. The follow-up from Dupius is there. Look how now as Desrosier gets moving here, he does get a little bit of a gap actually, but what's interesting, it all settles down with 4 at 19.5K. So all Grupo Compacto, the prediction though is there. Desrosier does it again. And as he does though, he commits full on with this feather power up, and Brian Zukowski is just persistent, uses a drafting power up and rolls right on through at the 21.6 kilometer marker on the other side of corkscrew. Desrosiers cannot respond at this point, and it is a solo effort from Brian Zukowski for the 65 plus from there on out. Desrosiers does roll in for second solo. It was a battle behind there between Reed and Dupius there for third, but definitely an interesting race here. Zukowski taking full advantage of the aggression that Desrosiers put out on course.
Yeah, almost a bicycle racing Tai Chi there as he uses Desrosiers's aggression eventually against him. That's some really solid racing from Brian Zukowski today, the Sask rider, to take the win. But I'm going to give a lot of credit to Renaud Desrosiers. That's a very aggressive style of racing that's fun to watch. And certainly that's the spirit of the sport for the Lewatt brothers athlete there. So Renaud, good job for the silver today. Rob Reed in for bronze. Louis-Pierre Dupuis for fourth. Willie Van Sivenant for fifth. Thierry Bélanger for sixth. And Wally Taikolis in seventh there. That's an impressive top 7 here for our Canadian National Championship. Looks like we've got another group rolling out. This might be our junior women that we've got queued up now.
Yeah, our junior and U17 women. In the red is going to be our juniors, and our U17 is going to be in green.
What's
with Julia Lehman. Just different age groups. Different age groups.
Younger juniors.
Yeah. So you have your juniors that are under, I believe it's U20 high school age, and then U17. I need to get it exact on that, but yeah, the difference is U17 versus the juniors.
U19 and a U17 are the two categories. Then I think
exactly. Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for the help there, Dave. So Julia though does break away from the other 2 riders there, up and over the top of the corkscrew, and rolls in solo. So left it to be a battle between the other 2 for the age group.
Yeah, so I would imagine that the spirit of this race, all 3 got in there in the mix together. We're back to these kits as well with the women. We're doing this for the women only, the A's,
the
B's,
idea,
and C's kits?
Yeah, and the reason for that was in order to make sure that there were riders to have a peloton and a group to race with amongst each other with the signups. So Caddy Gertzma though, as it was between her and Keely Hamilton when it came to coming to the line. It was with a lap to go that Caddy did make that move. Julie, as you can see, did walk away from the other riders there and was able to take a solo win. Caddy, with about a lap to go, said Breakaway Bray was where she was going to do it at 22.7K. And Keely Hamilton was unable to respond to that move. So that is going to be your situation for the junior and U17. Let's go ahead and take a quick look here at the results. It is Keely Hamilton and Caddy at the top there gives Geert Sema for the juniors, and then it is going to be for our U17, Julia Lehman taking it down.
All right. Well, congratulations to the junior women getting out there as we.
And then across over to the junior and U17 men, it was fast right from the get-go. And this one was quite the hitter. Now, we do have a similar situation here. Our juniors are going to be in red, and then it is going to be our U17s in green. And this was it pretty much from the get-go. Cover and kill over and over again. Glavich would go. It would be covered by what looked to be Saint-Cartier as well as Pelican, and then as you can see here, this is going to be Clovis Saint-Cartier. This guy was on fire and on the front over and over and over again. You can see him here pushing at the 17.5 kilometers mark, and I think he put a lot of energy though out on course with the moves that he was making. Again, coming into the 21K market with about a lap and a half in, he goes full gas to try and break it apart here with the feather power up. Dave, this guy is an animal.
Yeah, I love the fact that for the Canadian Nationals, there are snowshoes on the wall behind him when he's making this huge effort as well. Extremely fitting as Saint-Cartier here, absolute monster at this point. And look how put together he is on the bike as well. Not a lot of extra motion. That's just a watt machine that we're looking at here as these guys are down to one lap to go out here on the Rolling Highlands course now.
And three do get away with Saint-Cartier. It's going to be Zabalatny and then Pelican. That those three start attacking each other like mad with about 4K to go. First, it was Zabalatny, and then Pelican was going to counter with about 3K to go. He actually falls off the back a little bit here. It seemed like to come with some roll-through speed up in the 9 watts per kilogram with that kick. Pelican here, solid attack, but it gets covered real quickly. So all Grupo Compacto here in just a moment, as it is Clovis Saint-Cartier who does close that down. Now he's the aggressor over and over again. And Dave, what have we seen on the breakaway break coming into the final K? Is it the lead out man?
No, I haven't seen the first guy to go win once. Right. So I think that clearly this is an interesting moment too. These two going to lock horns. Now it's down to 2 at this point.
Well, here, Dave, right here, real quickly though, Pelican, he's off the back and he does something really interesting here. He's way back. I thought it was over. They've only got 8 watts per kilogram up front with feather power-ups. He doesn't even have a power-up, Dave. Watch him come on like a freight train through the flattened out section. Live and learn right here, because here comes Pelican to take down a national championship, and the celebration is so great to see.
And I mean, he earns this one. As you said, it almost looked like he was out of the picture, but that's a true sprinter, knowing you only really need to crush it for that last 300 meters. Says he absolutely earns that one. So, okay.
Yeah, jumping in with our U17s. It was all Grupo Compacto to the line here at this point after they did end up in a chase group. Duel here leads things out. Again, the lead out, not always the best place to be. Nickerson coming with 13.4 watts per kilogram. Changed spots plenty of times. I thought Henry might be able to take it down, but no, it was going to be Nickerson up and over the top for the win out here today. Big national championship for that U17 rider. So Henry there coming on through for third. That is the situation for these riders. So for our results on the juniors, let's see if we can get these in here for you real quick, and then we'll jump right down into the racing as the ladies in the elites have gotten out on course. But Raphael Pelican on the top.
Yeah, congratulations, Raphael, as that's your gold standard here for Canadian juniors. Colton Zabaletny taking the silver medal and a bronze for Clovis Sans-Cartier. That's quite a group there on the podium. Loki Motai, the Rhino rider, in fourth. Matthew Glavich in fifth, and Evan Zikovits in sixth place here. Great to see the turnout from our junior esports riders. Canadian cycling right now has a tremendous amount of junior talent. Nathan, the Holmgren sisters are a great example of that. So some of the best in the world coming out of Canada right now, and I'd put this group of riders right in that mix. Here's our younger junior group. It's Ryan Nickerson will take that national championship for Team Cryogen. It's Edouard Henry for Cycle Dupuis in second, Connor Dool in third today for Abscae Finesse presented by Wolf. Elias Smith in fourth, and Jack Purdy rounds out our top five there for the younger junior men out racing today, the cadets.
Yeah, and so let's jump right down into our racing for the elite women as they have taken off out onto course. 1.2 kilometers in, no separation up front. We've got 4 laps today out on Rolling Highlands. Dave, let's talk a little bit about the course. What do you think about this course out here today for a national championship? I think it's a racer's course for sure. It's absolutely one of the best, I think.
Yeah, I would agree, Nathan. It's right down the middle as far as it's got everything that you're looking for. It's fair. It's challenging. It gives the breakaway artist something. I mean, there's actually a segment of the course named Breakaway Prey, right? So if you're someone who's inclined to be active in the race, there's a lot to work with out here. It's a fantastic course for world or national championship. We should talk about the power-ups today, Nathan, as if you were watching in our highlights from our amateur racing earlier and Masters junior racing as well, the feather and draft, the lightweight and draft power-ups will be in play. Correct me if I'm wrong. I assume it's still the same for our elites here.
Correct. And so Adam here, Milton, as we can see, 12 registered, 11 joints. So Dave, 31.9 kilometers, 19.8. As you can see, as not the Masters, just as a heads up. But as we head out on course here, elite women now going to be doing this 31.9 kilometers and solid 40.9 kilometers. Apologies on that. 2024 Canadian Esports National Championships.
All right. So we'll have a chance to start talking about some of the riders in this field. This is a good opportunity, though, Nathan, when you look at it, just to kind of break down, is obviously it's all Canadians in our national championship. First off, I don't see any riders that have a huge team advantage out here. It's not like Monali has her entire Aeonian squad, which is significant if that were the case. But as far as I can tell, I think she's the only Aeonian rider in this group, which actually helps level the playing field a little bit for some of our individual riders that are getting into esports. And to be fair, Aeonian is like the Montreal Canadiens, the one of the top teams in their universe, right? But in Monali Keller, you can see her right there with her Scotty the Squirrel hat. As it looks like we have a couple riders with that hat. That's just one good way if you're new to the world of Zwift or esports to know that that is a very experienced Zwifter. She's into, I'm going to guess Monali's in probably into the 80s as far as her level of Zwifting. Well, that's that beautiful Maple Leaf jersey. We were talking before the broadcast about Global Relay. They're a technology company out of British Columbia, Nathan, that have been tremendous supporters. I'm going to say it's more than a decade at this point of Canadian cycling, helping get funding to athletes to make overseas trips and just everything required to have a comprehensive international cycling program. And Canada has always punched above its weight. This is Michelle Gagnon, one of the riders that we just saw there in that jersey, as it looks like Monali moving up to the front. That should have the alarm bells ringing, to tell you the truth. Nathan, does she come in on paper as the most dangerous rider in this field?
Watch out for Lawson.
I was going to say we're not
Marion
completely.
Lawson, I would definitely be watching out for her. She is an extremely dangerous rider, I think, out here today. Now, the reason I think that she's a little bit under the radar is it's been a little bit since we've seen her. But Lawson, I think, Paquette as well, Dave. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we have an outright favorite because this field is pretty even. I think we have talents in specific abilities out here today.
Yeah, well, absolutely. This course is one that it will sort things out for you, for sure. It's not insanely hard, but it's hard enough. That's going to be Marion Lawson that Nathan was talking about. You can see some of the new features that have been integrated into Zwift Community Live there. The power bar there, the energy bar, showing that she's starting with the full tank, and we'll watch how that progresses throughout the race. Heart rate relatively high for this point in the race, Nathan. Just showing that these ladies are not just out for a Sunday cruise. They're racing already. I mean, it's actually not easy just staying in this group when you're clipping along at 40 kilometers per hour out here.
Yeah, Lawson here now hanging at the back. Interesting to see Penner now making her way to the front, though. Be on the watch out for Penner. Definitely a rider to be a danger woman out here today when it gets to into these sections where you can be on the attack. Usually someone who's extremely aggressive. That's going to be Penner up in the upper right-hand corner there on the attack. On the lower right, it's going to be Lawson. Left there is Gagnon. Now up to the front, though, it's going to be Loud Feed there from Revo actually on the attack, but Penner here, as you can see, following the wheels right on Keller's wheel, as it's going to be Ford trying to get a little bit of a gap as they make their first way through breakaway break. I think that this is just little jabs, though, Dave. If we're going to do a boxing match here for over 40K, I think it's going to be more about bobbing and weaving here than just an all-out attack that's going to break things apart.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Such a small group that we're starting with. So you don't have that dynamic of a massive peloton that can chase you back, which frees up the riders to be more aggressive at this point in the race. I would have to call Penner, Nathan, the rookie of the year at this point in Zwift Community Live racing, at least the Canadian Rookie of the Year. Tiffany Penner has really already made her mark. The Avis Synergy rider is an impact player, and you can see that she's got a few riders on the rope right now at the back of this group. So to be honest here, we're really just now heading out on lap number one, as we see Marion Lawson there attacking out of this group. But that run in there brings us on to lap number one. So each lap at around 9K each. This is going to be spicy, Nathan. This is a good group of women here. No one has that trump card of a massive team that they can lean on. This is probably the first time. So esports is really interesting. Sometimes you're racing with one team, other times another team. Maybe you do your team time trials on Thursdays with an entirely different squad. But one thing's for sure is that you're going to have to pedal that bike. And sometimes you don't have anybody to help you. And today, Nathan, it is every woman for herself in this front group. And it's down to 7 riders. So they're going to be punching some tickets out here. Again, this is Tiffany Penner that we're in with. Nathan, I'd say she showed up on my radar as a top rider in the last 6 months. She's on a steep learning curve right now.
100%. And I think she's hunting for that big win at this kind of a level today, Dave. I really do think that she is somebody who's probably been training and really focusing in specifically on this race. She's been right there on some big podiums as of recently in the community racing. And I have a feeling that a Canadian National Championship is definitely marked on her bulletin board as a huge goal to try and really prove herself, as you were saying, as a rookie of the year kind of showing up. Now, just to highlight riders coming off the back here, Calder now, Yazar as well, unable to make this, but it looks like Calder now may be able here, Dave, really fighting to rejoin out here.
Yeah, and I'm pulling for, and I think she's going to catch a break. Everybody in your life needs to catch a break. She just needs to catch one in the next 30 seconds, and that's it. She's back in. Calder showing you that's how you canuck up. Right there. You don't give in. You don't throw that towel in when it doesn't look good. You keep fighting, and she's back in the group, and knowing her, she'll attack them. This is Justine Calder that we're looking at. So that's a fierce bike racer, Nathan, that we're looking at. It's encouraging to see some leaves on the road, to tell you the truth. It's still fall up in Canada, I guess, but makes sense.
Well, we're in Scotland, and the Canadians are racing in Scotland. Yeah, it's interesting, virtually. how that
Hey, how
works.
about the snowshoes? That's going to be a highlight of the broadcast.
That
for
really
sure.
is. No, seriously.
Yeah.
The snowshoes with Clovis Saint Cartier was one of the best moments, I think, in ZCL. It's a very, very nice pickup there, Dave, that you were able to spot. I actually didn't spot that. I looked at that video for like a solid hour or two in the highlight reels, just editing that out, and didn't even pick up that there were snowshoes there. So good one there, Dave.
Well, yeah, and Nathan, while we've got a moment here, the ladies just kind of sitting back on their heels for a second after an aggressive run-in. Thanks for putting all those together. That looked like a lot of work, well worth it. But going back and editing that whole package to show us all of those national champions was extremely cool, and I know that they'll appreciate being able to go back and watch that on the broadcast. So on behalf of the community, I'll say thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, it's absolutely loved it. Actually, seeing the stories as they played out. Yeah. I mean, I think you got
some
those
emails
at 4
from you
a.m.
pretty late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's okay. That's what we're here for. Zoe Adam, the tank is low here. Now that is based on her critical powers that she has in game. So there may be one really good day of critical powers might bring that back as far as what.
Keller,
but I don't know, at 180 here, she might actually be struggling. Now Keller on the move. Now we haven't really taken a good look at her so far. Molly Keller is one of the favorites, I would say, out here. One of the talents that could be a ride away, though. I think that's what she wants. I think she wants a ride away here.
So what she did, if you could see she lives in Seattle, Washington. She's a Canadian, but who's been working at Microsoft there in the Redmond campus. She just took a giant swig of maple syrup and then threw down one of those syrup jugs and attacked. But it was covered, which is impressive here. These women are not playing. Your call about Marianne Lawson, Nathan, was very astute. This is going to be Mona Lee that we're looking at. Mona Lee is a mom of 3. I think it's fair to say a superwoman, to tell you the truth, Nathan. When you look at the going back many years in esports, a good friend of ours, V Win, helped really highlight just what a champ Mona Lee Keller is as a human being. And Mona Lee's been through she was hit by a car last year, and she's been rehabbing quite a bit. It's really impressive. She's been at a high level the entire time that we've known her. But Nathan, explain, why does she have cookies up on her?
She just loves cookies. That's like her energy food. That's her thing. She just loves cookies. I think that she may have sent me some cookies, or was it like this? She's just all about the food. If you interact with Mona Lee, you're gonna get some awesome goodies in the mail. Most likely, she loves to hook things up.
Can I brag?
Yeah, go ahead.
When I was in Seattle, Mona Lee, not this trip, but previously, showed up with fresh-baked cookies at the event, and it was mind-blowing. They lasted about 15 seconds before the vultures came swooping in and ate all of the cookies. I barely got 2 down, but definitely appreciate people like Mona Lee in our community. Actually, that's what it's all about. Nathan, taking a look at this group of Canadian women right now, definitely a group that races hard, and they know how to throw down, believe me, but there's a tremendous amount of support here as well. There's that Canadian National Champions jersey on one of our avatars. The blue Tron bike or the turquoise Tron bike? I'll try to figure out
I think
which
it's
rider is
I don't not a national champions jersey. I think it's a national team kit.
National team
is what's going
jersey.
on there. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly right. Yeah.
So Paquette actually, and this is definitely also, as I'd said, somebody that we don't see a lot in our broadcasts throughout the weeks, but this is someone that when she comes out of the woodwork to race, look at that energy bar. She's hardly been touched at this point,
Monster
Dave.
alert.
She is sitting in, and Dave, she is a huge favorite for a sprint, I think, out here today.
I was talking about global relay. Well, you can see right there. That is, Nathan, you are 100% right. That's the one of the Canadian national team jerseys. The nations will update every now and then. Canada has so much to work with that maple leaf that other countries don't, though. I've always been a huge fan. Going back, to be honest, Global Relay, Nathan, before it was Global Relay, that used to be Tim Hortons. Do you have Tim Hortons in Wisconsin? You might be Canadian enough.
So. No, we don't.
You are?
Oh,
It's
big
a
attack.
donut
Here we go.
off.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Here
here
we
we go.
go,
That's
Dave.
the attack.
Big attack here coming from Ludwig, actually, from the Revo team.
Annalise gonna try to cover.
That was massive, Dave. She went full gas, 11
Nuclear.
watts per kilogram immediately. If we take a look real
Arrow
quickly
power
here,
up.
22 meters. It's going out 24, 25. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see the gap that she has. The moment they're within 5, she has a gap, maybe even 10. But at this point, Lawson trying to go across. Here it is. Lawson, Keller right on her wheel as well, looking to close things down. Dave,
Wow.
it's full gas now at this point because Dave behind, actually, we had said be on the watch out who might get dropped off, and it's actually going to be behind Paquette as well as Calder have been caught out, Dave.
Back. Yeah, that was an explosion. I said arrow, I meant feather power up. As you can see, now that's the draft power up being deployed. That is a big moment. Let's see if Calder's going to be able to come back. It is the 4 Riders of the Apocalypse right now on the front of this race. I still believe that they're going to come back, but that was definitely a statement as this is going to be spicy all day. Paquette is one of the riders here trying, and they do come back, but look, it's going to be 6 if they do, or will it become 8 one more time here? This certainly won't be 8 riders together when this race finishes. That's for sure, as it's just body blow after body blow being thrown by our Canadian women here. As Nathan, we're only out on lap number 1, and look at the aggression that we're seeing. This is some serious racing going on.
Yeah, look at this here, Dave. As you can see, Paquette on the chase, 5 watts per kilogram. Now, Dave, she probably is going to get back, but here's the thing. It's right before the corkscrew. They put her in the worst position, and Calder can't take a pole here at this point. I don't think that Calder's got the energy to come through. It is all on Marion at this point to bring this back, and they have put one of the strongest riders out. She represented Canada at Esports Worlds, Dave. She is no joke, but Dave, here's the question. Does she back off just a little? Like, no, don't go 200 beats per minute, back up a little and try and close on corkscrew, because 3 seconds right here is so much energy on a downhill.
I am really, really fascinated by what the coalition rider Calder is doing here, Nathan, because if she is able to rejoin this group without taking a pull, that is a master class in bike racing. You say that she can't take a pull or she won't take a pull. Either way, this is how you do it. You help finish what's on their plate before you start in on what's on your plate. And right there, she really showed you how she knew that Marion Paquette would be motivated to close down that gap. Paquette was not going to wait around to see if Calder was going to rotate through and relay. Well, and they're going to come back. I mean, you have to respect what Calder's doing. But as you said, Nathan, that's the problem. Right before they rejoin, they hit out with authority. It is on like Donkey Kong one more time. These women will not back off out here today, Nathan.
Yeah, Marion Lawson here now to the front. And I said she was going to be a danger woman out here today, and she puts the gas on here. It's coal on the fire, and Paquette now off the back with the drafting power-up actually being used behind here at this point. These are the 2 perspectives. Lawson on the right on the attack. Paquette on the left with Calder here now being dropped, it looks like, completely up over the top of the corkscrew. But Paquette is not throwing in the towel yet, but it's 7 seconds. 7 seconds is massive, Dave, in a Zwift race.
My gosh, you can't really say it's like boxing where they can punch themselves out of this race in the front, but not everyone is going to survive up there. Lawson has been phenomenal. You know who's loving this, though, is got to be Monali Keller. Keller's going to sit back now as these selections are happening. It's going to be, the winner of this race is alone, Nathan, when she comes across the line. I don't know who that woman is, but it definitely will not be any type of a group today. With this style of racing, it's just going to be bodies laying all over Scotland.
Yeah, and here is the picture of Lawson now at this point, looking fairly calm, actually, Dave.
Looking
after
pro.
Does not look like she just blew this race apart, actually. At this point, now 178 beats per minute, though, says a little bit different of a story. Now, 2 off the back at this point, still in the chase mode. Over the top of Breakaway Brave, we do see a couple more attacks now at this point as they're about to start into lap 2, finishing up lap 1, 13.4 kilometers in so far. Lawson at the back here, keeping calm, maybe ready to go again.
All right. Well, I mean, let's take some inventory now, Nathan, as this is our front group that we're looking at. Great in-cam shot with Lawson here, who, I mean, she seems to have really found that balance between the amount of power she gets up and out of the saddle. This has got to be right now. We're actually looking at Penner here as this is the Avis Synergy rider. We talked about her at the beginning of the broadcast. That's the draft power up, the van that you see there, which won't really impact anything. It's neither here nor there when you look at Tiffany Penner here on the front. Tiffany Penner is so strong. That's going to be her right underneath Lawson's in cam there, as Grinta is the word. Monali Keller over there in the Aeonian jersey, the sleeveless jersey for Keller. Keller probably comes in with the most international esports experience, Nathan. I would say that probably on paper, these other women would have to look at Monali as a legacy rider.
Yeah, 100%. She's got it. I think you're 100% right there, actually, Dave. When it comes to the experience between the riders, it will be Keller that has the most amongst them when it comes to esports. Penner now backing off, does get a little bit more separation, it looks like, between herself and Paquette and Calder, but it did not get the separation perhaps that she was looking for to try and whittle this down to 3 or 4 riders, all back together with 6 again. As we're looking at Adam here now. Zoe Adam, this is a rider that I'm not familiar with at all. Somebody who's coming out here to race, Dave, on a national championships. It's always interesting, Dave, when we get new riders jumping in with us.
It sure is. And she's a U23 racer. And I have a feeling, Nathan, that Milton is the velodrome. Canada's national velodrome. I've always been a huge fan of Steve Bauer. Steve Bauer in a lot of ways. What Greg LeMond is to American cycling, Raul Alcala is to Mexican cycling. There's no doubt Steve Bauer, 11 days in the yellow jersey. And he's been heavily involved in that velodrome. And I have a feeling, well, Zoe's a triathlete. That makes some sense. Actually, I think you would have to respect this. Zoe Adam is a multi-talented, I mean, she does a lot of different sports in her life. As I believe that she's going to be the rider that might be coming out of the woodwork out here today, Nathan. Look at that heart rate that she's got going right now. I'm going to be interested to see what kind of a ride Zoe Adam can put together. That's a good catch. I mean, the fact that she's riding in this group with these quality of women, that's a stamp of approval right there.
Yeah, I'm being told that Zoe is on the Milton development team, and it's the Matami National Cycling Center is the Velodrome in Milton, actually home of the national track team. And so this Zoe Adam is someone to watch out for. Dave, it comes down to a sprint track cyclist that's got it in her blood that much. Watch out.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I was 90% correct on my Milton information. That's cool.
I don't know the last time you visited, so I think we'll give you a pass there, Dave.
Yeah, no, I have never been there, to be fair. I do know that that it's a beautiful, beautiful facility, and it's relatively new as well. It's certainly less than a decade old that they've been racing there. So it's really nice to see Cycling Canada investing in their infrastructure. That's for sure. So is this Zoe that you found?
This is going to be Zoe. Yeah. Big thank you to her for providing live cams of her racing here. Hammering away, as you can see, at the front now, U23.
Can you tell what she's on as far as the bike there?
No.
I can't. Okay. I was going to say, I was wondering what that is. Looks like a unique piece of equipment up there. So out on lap number 2 of 4 right now, the 2 power-ups, that's part of the gamification that Zwift brings, and they're 2 of the favorites, that's for sure. 2 of the standards, the Feather and the Van. That's going to be the lightweight. It reduces your weight by 10%, or the Draft, which really you have to be in the draft, but it increases it significantly by 50%. As we take a look at our front group right now, so there you go. Thank you to Evelyn. As 2015, it was built for the Pan Am Games, the velodrome up there that we were just referring to.
Looking through at some of our rider comparisons here, and maybe part of the reason why Lawson is trying to break things apart, Dave, here. Monali Keller with a 13 watt per kilogram sprint. Speaking of the kind of race that these riders might be looking for, but Monali Keller also with a solid 4.6 for 20, as you can see here. So pretty evenly matched when it comes across the 1 and the 5 minutes there, Dave. But with a solid 13, maybe not wanting to bring Keller to the line. I have a feeling that Lawson's going to want to break things apart sooner than later, perhaps, to get rid of some of these big watts per kilogram for 15 seconds.
Yeah, and I mean, comparing yourself to Monali Keller, that's a tough row to hoe as you're comparing yourself to one of the top 10 esports riders of all time. Marion Lawson is one of these riders with motivation. I see that she's on a cyclocross bike there, and that's something that that cyclocross, the duration for women these days, 50 minutes is what it should be, or some would say an hour is what it should be, actually, and I would agree. But certainly the duration, the intensity of cyclocross is relatively comparable. Here we go, Monali Keller on the attack, Nathan. So this is going to be a bit of a problem now as Keller is starting to, I would say, come to a boil at this point, maybe a saute, but it's not going to be long until she's flat out on fire out here, and I think everybody realizes that. 4 laps, it's a long race. Rolling Highlands, a challenging course that really suits Monali Keller's talents quite well. We're going to see who's going to look to upset the apple cart. Zoe Adam, Nathan, this is going to be the story of the day. No question. I'm really, really excited to see what this young rider
can do. You know why she did that? Paquette is 8 seconds back. They were out to almost 20 at one point. She is not throwing in the towel, and they can see that Paquette's coming. And Dave, there's a lot of racing. There is a lot of racing still left to go.
How can you not be pulling for these two, to be honest? I mean, that's absolutely awesome to see the way they've kept their head in the game. Let's see if they can get back into this group. Wow, a lot in the balance here as we make our way through the middle part. Great catch, Nathan. These two are fighting.
Yeah, and as you can see here, Paquette now brought it back. Well, now down to 9 seconds here. Now, will they work together at the front? Because here's the thing. You start putting too much energy, people start skipping poles, Dave, and you might be sacrificing your national championship to try and keep Paquette off the back. Is she that dangerous enough of a rider that everyone starts saying, hey, we do not want her back involved here?
Well, and look how much racing we still have ahead of us here as well. I wouldn't base my entire racing game plan based on just holding these two off at this point. If they're strong enough to ride back up into this group, I think it's a so be it moment, to tell you the truth. If you're looking at this, I mean, a lot of these riders will have not necessarily a director sportif, but a loved one, a coach, a teammate giving them advice. And at this point now, I would say again, like, whose perspective should we look at it from? Monali Keller's or Zoe Adams? If you're Zoe Adam, I would say just ride your race. Stay in this group right now. I would imagine that there's a game plan that she would like to execute a little bit later, but right now, stay in the wheels.
100%. Well, Dave, Paquette now continue to drive 4.4 watts per kilogram, 196 beats per minute as she continues to chase. It is a part of the big story out here today with such a high-end rider to be dropped off now at this point. Let's do a quick little comparison because, you know, Paquette, obviously pretty experienced. Well, no, we've got some attacks, actually. Just go ahead and jump in here because this is going to be Loudfee, actually, on the attack. Big responses coming in here now, as you can see. As here goes Keller, Lawson covering quickly, but it's Loudfee on the upper left-hand side there. It's going to be on the lower right. The chase there coming in from Keller and the rest. Crazy to see the numbers that are being thrown down here as Loudfee looks to get away. Keller right on the wheel. Penner off the back just a little bit. There's the gap now, Dave, but it's all going to come back together with 4. Gagnon now with Adams now maybe struggling. We may see separation in the exact same spot we saw last lap. But no, it looks like able to get back on terms. That is going to be with the roll through Gagnon.
Wow. I mean, this is spicy, isn't it? It's maple syrup with jalapeno infusion to tell you the truth, because this is not just rolling around. I was saying stay in the wheels. Well, what wheels? At this point, it's all out pandemonium. And I think right now this is a scenario that's going to play into Monnalee Keller's hand. And there's Keller right now. You can see her in the Scotty the Squirrel hat, the Aeonian rider moving back up to the front. Zoe Adam, though, no one's punching her ticket out here. That young rider, absolutely a force to be reckoned with. This might be her breakthrough performance. Tiffany Penner still there as well. So the Avis Synergy rider, Nathan, they don't seem to be putting any kind of dent in her armor right now, talking about Tiffany Penner. And I'll be curious to see what kind of numbers does she put up for that 15-second power. Keller is phenomenal. I believe that Monnalee was in the high 12s. Maybe even 13 watts per kilo for 15 seconds.
Yeah, it was 13. It was 13.
Yeah, that's nuts. I wonder what Tiffany Penner is someone that comes in. It's not like she's coming off the couch, much like Zoe Adam, right? Zoe Adam comes from a talent identification. She was involved in sports her entire life, and cycling has been lucky enough to find her. Well, Tiffany Penner, as I said, she's not rolling off of the couch and getting into cycling. She's obviously been incredibly active as an athlete through her life, and being well-rounded really does suit an esports athlete. And that's what we're looking at now. 6 of the top Canadian esports athletes in the sport right now riding to try to earn a coveted, I tell you what, it's even more special, really, when you look at how beautiful that Canadian National Champions jersey is. And one of these 6, most likely, there's a couple riders who'd like to join the conversation, but Marion Lawson is one rider who certainly is going to be motivated to have a superstar performance out here today's day. This is a good preview of the finish line, Nathan.
Independent Lawson here, riding independently now, 8.4 watts per kilogram off the front just a little bit here with that feather power up. Interesting use of it, knowing her course, that's for sure, because as you look at this course, this is the steepest sections that you are going to find out here with the ability to try and make a break happen at all. Keller now responding, Loudfee's there as well. Zoe Adam 1 second back, perhaps a little bit of a gap going to them. They're going to make their way over to the breakaway Bray here in just a second to finish up their second lap. They're going to have 2 to go at this point. Lawson here, big attack coming in from her, not able to get the distance perhaps she's looking for, but able to put a little bit of sting in the legs here as we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women still battling for the national championship. And Dave, it has been a spicy race, a good race. Interesting to see. Sometimes, the racers need to make the race when you have a smaller pack. Well, they are definitely showing up and putting on a show today.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the TSS for these riders, there's never been a peloton to roll in. I mean, you're lucky to get any kind of draft at all out here. So this is going to be, what is the total distance today? In the low 40s, right? This is going to feel like 60 kilometers of racing with the amount of work that they're doing out here. And the aggression as well. I mean, it's been very little rolling along in the wheels. It's been a lot of attacking and cover and kill. Actually, it's been the name of the game out here for the first half of this race, and it's certainly not going to get any easier.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an absolute brawl here in just a moment as the riders make their way to the second lap. If the first 2 laps give you any idea of what the riders are going to be up to for the last 2. Now, who have been the main aggressors is going to be a big question, Dave. Gagnon here, I feel like, hasn't really stuck her nose in the wind too much. It's mainly been Penner and Lawson and Keller that have been making the main moves. The rest here have been, covering and killing all of this here at this point. But now, interesting enough, we see Michelle Gagnon here making a move to the front. Is this just a defensive positioning, perhaps?
Well, what I would say is that's a very savvy rider when you talk about Gagnon here. Is she definitely has, I mean, if we were to look at the burn rate, the lower the burn rate, the better job you're doing. The Zwift craft is really strong. She seems to still have that punch as well. The pop is there. So this could be the best ride that Michelle has put together, and it's always nice to see someone living that dream. This, again, is Gagnon that we're looking at, the Bellois. That's a Belgian insurance company. I wonder if that is available in Canada as well. As we take a look at the finish line, that's what 2 to go. is what they would be seeing. 2 laps of racing remaining, each lap at around 9K each out here. About, yeah, I mean, when you look at it, Nathan, I still get a feeling that there's going to be a blistering attack coming from one of these women, but I don't know that it's going to win out of this group. If it stays as a cohesive chase, this is a relatively evenly matched group of 6. Monali Keller's not going to be able to just romp away with this one.
Yeah, that's true. And she's definitely being marked here at this point as one of the aggressors so far. Out of everybody who's kind of keeping their powder dry, though, out here, I definitely would be watching out for Michelle Gagnon. You know, she's been really quiet. I'm wondering if she's been, you know, coached up at this point to sit in and wait for her chance. Now you do see her at the front again. She's continually guarding the front, but I don't think she's necessarily pushing on or anything like that. Now at 171 beats per minute though here, Dave, interesting to be here. Does she just beat high though, perhaps? That might be what's going on as well, and making sure that she's able to cover anything that tries to make a move, because over and over again, we've seen these big orange numbered attack here, Dave, and I have a feeling riding from the front here is how somebody might be trying to make sure nothing gets away, because Paquette, she got caught out at the back.
I don't know if you had a chance to notice in the million things that you're doing what Michelle does for a living, Nathan. She's a quality control manager, and I think she's got a really good feel for data and recognizing exactly what she needs to be doing when. There's a big part of racing out here. I mean, you have to be able to make the watts, but being able to read a race is huge on a day like today, especially where it really isn't about sitting in a 120 rider group and just making sure you make all the selections and are there to sprint at the end. This is making a lot of decisions on the fly out here. And I get the feeling that Michelle is really well suited for this. The 28-year-old rider here has just made every move that she needed to, although she's starting to get a little bit more aggressive. Actually, I've noticed over the last 3 or 4K, starting to move up to the front, which not a bad sign, to tell you the truth. She must be having good sensations from the legs today, and nice to see a ride on coming her way, well earned for Michelle Gagnon. Currently sitting on the front here of the Tête de la Corsa, the front of the bike race.
Yeah, Michelle.
Some mist.
Love to really appreciate all of the information that the riders have provided for us as well. Quality control manager coming from Quebec, actually. I was chatting to her a little bit beforehand, and she let me know it's not Gagnon like a canyon, as everybody, at least close enough, though, coming from the French-Canadian area here. 162 beats per minute, 170, it looks like. Gagnon. She definitely was like, come on now, Mr. American.
I don't blame her. We have murdered that name for 5 years.
For 5+ years, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Across the entire country, from west to east coast.
I've been to Quebec City, which is, the Mont Saint Anne was a host for the World Mountain Bike Championships back in 1998.
We've been to the same. Were you at the same?
Right.
Were you at that?
I was there.
You were there. Nice. Right on. I wasn't at that one. I was at the Mountain Bike World Cups, but not at that one specifically.
That was the one where 7 of the 8 gold medals and World Championship jerseys went to French riders at that World Championships. They were absolutely dominating across all of the downhill, cross-country, you name it, disciplines. So, yeah, Canada has had a great history, right, with international mountain bike racing, Bromont, Mont Saint Anne, amongst a few venues as we take a look at. Well, so I have to think that, Michelle is in Quebec City. Monali Keller is in Seattle, but we would put her over on the other side of the country. That's the complete other side of the country there. She's only probably 120, or let's call it 200 kilometers from Vancouver, maybe less than that, where she is. Front group, though, still together. It's 5, or excuse me, it is still 6. I thought maybe we'd lost someone, but we did not.
Yeah, definitely still 6, and it looks like, the only red dot that's over the border that we have out here today, as you were saying there, Dave. but 204, 159. Let's reload this here as far as the heart rates go. But heart rate's still coming down here, Dave. This is getting into tempo.
That's
the half,
chill.
At this halfway point, we talk about what the athletes are experiencing. It's time to start reloading. You start talking about the gels that you're going to start taking or any kind of sugar that's in the bottles. You really, at 40 minutes in, you should have had kind of 2 servings really of sugar at this point, every 20 minutes or so. So the athletes are going to start thinking about, okay, we're into the second half of this race. It's time to start refueling, and the dynamic of the race starts changing because you start running out of landscape to work with. So you want to have as much energy as you possibly can in order to really put those afterburners on, because that's when the race is really won. And so, Dave, I think a lot of these athletes are starting to think about what are the opportune moments and what was the plan coming in? How has it changed up to this point? And what's the new plan if it wasn't working the way they thought?
Yeah, I completely agree, Nathan. And also with the intensity that is coming, now is a good time to get your nutrition taken care of, get those carbs in. The rider that we haven't really talked about is Lufti here, who's been more than comfortably riding along in this front group. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of work here. Lutfi, the Revo rider here, has quietly, Nathan, just kept her head above water, riding in this group. This is going. So also from Quebec, portfolio manager. So that's a job that you take seriously. Ziena Lutfi. So very impressive ride from Ziena out here today, Nathan.
Yeah, she's doing good. And this is actually a rider that we've seen show up recently as well. I would say instead of a rider of the year, this is a rider of the season. She has recently been winning big ZRL races. Somebody to be watching out for sure. Ziena Lutfi here now backing off at the front, at the back of this pack, playing it very, very smart. We've seen her take some pretty big sprint wins though, actually, as well. This woman has a kick, so it's really cool to see her here, and definitely somebody who could be a big upset for some of our usual perennials when it comes to the esports scene.
Nathan, if I was going to be looking for talent, if I created my own nation and was building up my national cycling team, I tell you one sport that I would absolutely go to, the physiology of the athlete. Actually, the 2 sports that are maybe not as intuitive would be cross-country skiing, for sure, and rowing. And rowing is the sport that that we were lucky enough to find Zoe from. I was talking about talent identification. As I see you bringing up Ziena and Tiffany, I want to not step all over that, but Zoe Adam coming from the world of rowing, which is as intense as it gets. And she right now is rolling off of the front here as Monali Keller is going to respond. We got ourselves a moment happening here right now, Nathan.
Yeah, Keller, big watts here coming from Keller, but Keller's not going to back off, I think. I think this is going to be rolled right over the top here. As you can see, big efforts from all 3 of these ladies now as it's going to be Zoe in the lower right trying to respond to get back on terms from the attack that she started, but up and over the top is going to be Keller as she looks to try and break. Keller's all in at this point, Dave. She is not stopping this attack now. Ziena looks to be coming across as well. Lutfi now maybe be able to get back on terms. She's even using her arrow power up here at this point. Keller now goes in to try and break this apart. Lawson's responding there as well. We've got 4 off the back. Ziena on the wheel here. The gap is just enough that they do not have a draft at this point. She still is able to put the hurt on Dave, but I don't think she's going to continue on. It looks like she can see the writing on the wall, doesn't want too many on her wheel and do all the work.
I mean, even Monali Keller has to be astounded at how strong these women are. That is really impressive that not one rider had their ticket punched after Monali Keller went ballistic out here. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got an absolute Donnybrook going on right now here on the Rolling Highlands. Nathan, this is going to be incredible. I mean, to tell you the truth, when we started this race, I thought it was going to be all Monali Keller out here today. The very pleasant surprise surprised is how these women have not only stood up to that challenge, they're not only taking punches, they're throwing punches now. And I mean, can you imagine? We've talked about the young Zoe Adam. If she can hold on for a win, I don't know what her race resume looks like. Her athletic resume is world class, no doubt. But Zoe Adam, she could shock the world with a Canadian Esports Championship out here today.
Yeah, she really could. It'd be amazing if she's able to throw that down. Now at the front here, it is going to be Adam again, 3.4 watts per kilogram. Milton U23. Gagnon here now. Belois WB ladies now rolling over the top. They're going to come into that corkscrew, Dave. There's only 2 more times over the top of this here. About a little over 10K to go, Dave, as these ladies are really watching each other. And I have a feeling the sting is starting to be in the legs. Some fatigue's going to start setting in. I think that these moments really are going to be crucial coming up right here. This corkscrew and the next breakaway Bray, I have a feeling a couple that may be suffering might find themselves off the back. Dave, there is chinks in the armor. I haven't seen Penner on the front much. Is she suffering or is she waiting for one of her signature attacks?
Well, they say that fortune favors the brave all the way up until it doesn't. And one of the things that you might see in this group, Nathan, is the riders who've been a little bit more on the conservative side. Do they have a little extra pop, a little more punch at the end of this race? A lap ago, I was convinced that our winner would be Solo when she came across the line. It's starting to look more and more like the resiliency of this group. But again, Keller goes. Monolith Keller has just been going to the well over and over again, and this is another body blow being thrown by Keller. Can they all hold on this time? I mean, again, the resiliency from this group has been the story of the race, no doubt. And Michelle Gagnon, phenomenal ride from Michelle. She's not only covering this move from Keller, she's going up and over the top. Tiffany Penner's in the blue jersey there. She's sitting right in this group. So these women will not give an inch. Outstanding racing from these Canadians out here, Nathan, as this is it. We're going to be very, very quickly down to 1 lap of racing remaining, 1 to go here for the Canadian National Esports Championship. Wow. Couldn't ask for more action out here.
Look at Gagnon. She is so calm,
chill.
Dave. She went over the top and looked so comfortable. Like, honestly, I am really, really impressed. She covered that, Dave, and then didn't even look like she was up out of the saddle struggling. Watch out for Michelle, and look at her continue. 4.7, Dave. Does she look like she's even attacking? Look at her.
She looks like she looks like she's on a Sunday cruise right now, talking about Michelle Gagnon now. Also, it looks like it's about 35 degrees in Quebec City where she is. And wow, I mean, this is going to go down as an absolute stunner of a performance from Michelle out here. She is holding them off right now. Again, I don't think that, Nathan, I'm not sure that this is an attack that she's got going for the finish of this race, but this is a statement here that it's going to be almost impossible to keep her off the podium with. She's got this kind of energy at this point in the race. Again, we're inside of 1 lap of racing remaining. The other women back in what is now, I guess it's not really quite a chase group as they're just about to make contact. But hello, Michelle. Welcome to big time racing, as she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Might as well get a pen out and sign her to the Canadian national team for the next decade. Look at her on that bike, Nathan. I mean, her form is perfect. This is someone who's really done her work. If I'm a quality control person, I pass her.
Dave, she drove the pace all the way into the bottom of this climb, actually. Now, is that too much of a risk? Because now they're going to be coming on like a freight train behind her here. She's pushing 6.6 watts per kilogram. Was she just trying to make it tough on everybody before hitting the climb? She doesn't look like... Look, they just closed it down to her. They're not coming over the top. Now, here we go, though. This is a big move. Lawson now maybe taking advantage of something here. Up into 3.1 watts per kilogram here coming from Lawson. The suffering, though, here. I'm going to go back to Zoe Adam. Look at Zoe trying everything she can to hang on here at this point. The woman, the U23 out of Milton, fighting to get back on terms.
The Italians have a word for that. It's grinta, and she's scraping the bottom of the barrel. Look at the leg speed that she's keeping going now. So this is the rower that we were talking about, the U23 athlete. She knows how to suffer, no question. This is some bike race we got going on now. I thought the U.S. National Championships were brilliant. This might go up and over the top of that. Oh, Canada, what a treat. So Monolith Keller right now, this is like trying to herd cats, to tell you the truth, Nathan. Controlling this group is ridiculous, as as we watched Zoe Adam, excuse me, coming out of the group. Now she's back on the front. Sienna Lutfi, Nathan. How about this ride from Lutfi out here today? She's the one rider that has never really seemed to be in trouble. She hasn't gone off the front or the back here, and that right now makes her even more dangerous than a polar bear.
One to go. We just saw them coming underneath the banner. 40.9K out here today. We've got 6 riders left battling it out for the 2024 Canadian Esports National Championships for the elite women. 6 riders start the final lap. 1 rider will get the gold out here today. We've seen a little bit of interesting moves here, Dave, coming into this last lap, coming from Michelle Gungan. And Dave, is she the strongest rider? Does she not want to sprint? I think that might be the reality here, Dave. She wants to make this as hard as it can be to see if this attrition of a race on 4 laps of Rolling Highlands could break things apart and watch her perhaps walk away. To come to the line with a sprinter like Keller, it's danger, isn't it, Dave?
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking, Nathan, is that Monali Keller is the last rider that any of these women want to go to the line with. Now, that's a negative, but it's also a positive, because what if all 5 of these other women take turns attacking Keller? Monali won't be able to cover every single one. So if only one woman is brave enough out here, Monali Keller probably wins this race, I think. But if they all go ballistic on her, as someone might be able to crack the code. And I mean, it's not like it's the world against Monali Keller, but when you come in as the top rider ranked internationally with the greatest palmares, the race resume is the strongest. Yeah, you are the woman to beat. And this is going to be really interesting because Sienna Lutfi is probably the most likely rider if it goes head-to-head in a sprint. And look at how Lutfi's kept her heart rate down. There's nothing. She has not missed a step out here today, talking about Sienna Lutfi.
100%. I'd definitely be watching out for her in a sprint. Penner's also one that might be able to pull something off in a sprint as well. We haven't seen her, again, stick her nose in the wind. I can't go past the fact that Penner was so aggressive early on, then suddenly either the lights went out a little bit here, Dave, and she's like, whoa, I got to get up from a couple of knockdowns here, get my bearings again.
Or the coach knocked on her door.
Yeah,
said, hey,
right. Wait for that one and done.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, I would love to know the answer to that. One thing's for sure, we are in for a real treat with this finale here. And the other thing that's for sure is the woman who wins this race has certainly earned it. That's for sure. And it feels so much better when you have that national champions jersey to know that it was an absolute battle royale to get there. Nathan, let's go back. I mean, I don't want to sell anyone short. Marion Lawson also. I mean, any one of these women can win, and that's the beautiful thing.
Penner here now, Dave. Actually, I didn't know she's coming from Winnipeg, Manitoba. She's a PhD student in microbiology, Dave. Riding for Avers Synergy, both indoor and outdoor. That's absolutely awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah. But none of these women disappoint, do they? As you start to learn the backstory, it's always just fascinating. And did you say microbiology in this case?
Yeah,
for Tiffany Penner?
PhD student in microbiology.
Yeah, Brainiac, Watt Monster, the complete package here as we take a look at this front group now into our finale.
Those real cycling terms? Brainiac, Watt Monsters. Those are, watch out for I feel like that's like a crew on Zwift. That's like Brainiac, Watt Monsters are a thing we get.
That's us, or that's them. I should say.
I don't know if that's us. That's them.
So, I mean, if you look at these women, just the 3 you have on screen, tell me which one is going to win out here today.
Hey,
right?
Come on.
I mean, impossible. Impossible.
Yeah. Oh, man. Look at Paquette here. One thing I want to say, Dave, is Paquette has continued. Like, it's gone to 40 to 21, to 40 to 21. I mean, It's gone almost out to a minute. Now it's back down to 20 seconds. I mean, I just have to say that this is an amazing ride. She was caught out at a bad time, it looked like, and just could not close it down. The reality of bike racing sometimes is so difficult. She has been putting out what looks to be 4+ watts per kilogram for most of this race. Absolutely amazing here.
Yeah, it's a good point, Nathan, that, it's those moments where it won't happen next time. That's for sure. And I look forward to the 2025 Canadian National Esports Championships as Marion Paquette will have her day. That's for sure. A big, big part of bike racing that works in real life and in esports is the never give up mentality. It all starts there for sure. So continued good luck to you, Marion Paquette. As we take a look at the young Canadian here, Zoe Adam, 2 young Canadians actually here. Is Zoe in the orange jersey now leading that group. It's really hard to snap the elastic here, as a flurry of attacks are coming. I can't imagine, Nathan, how they're not up here in the front group for our women. As one of the riders on your screen there is going to be our national champion. This is going to be the avatar and a good look at the young Canadian. I don't know if she's a former rower. I don't know that she's necessarily done with the sport, but she's certainly a cyclist with a bright future, Zoe Adam.
Yeah, Zoe Adam here, Milton U23, just made a little bit of a push off the front here, Dave, just making things tough, it looks like, for the rest of the crew. Marion Lawson at the back, I don't think that that's a struggle. I think that Marion is just trying to put herself in a good position, not lose too much energy, perhaps sit in. Dave, you're losing landscape at this point, Dave. You're running out of time to make any kind of moves.
Who does that benefit? Right. I mean, at this point now,
it benefits Penner, Keller, and Lutfi. That's who it benefits. And I think Lawson at this point is waiting for her moment, or she is trying to pull, one of those cats out. Yeah, one of those cats out of the hat here at the end. But Adam is like, forget it, I'm gone. Adam is just like, I'm going to go here, and if you're not going to hold my wheel, let's go. 5.5 watts per kilogram. This is interesting that she's putting such an effort in. I think she knows on the climb. She's seen what's happened over and over again on that climb, Dave, and I think she knows she has to get away.
I would not play around with Zoe Adam at all. This is going to be an athlete that really knows how to dig deep. And this right now, I mean, you use the term, they're going to run out of real estate. I mean, she could be grinding her way to the national championship on the front right now when you talk about Adam. And I think that Keller realizes that. Keller, one of the better spinners, but she's going to try to cover this. Cover and kill has got to be the name of the game. It's on now. Here we go, Nathan. It is on like Donkey Kong as the Canadian National Championship is all going to come down to this. The young Zoe Adam is attacked. Now Monali Keller trying to cover. That's going to be Tiffany Penner in the blue jersey there. Here we go. Time to rock up.
Yeah, Keller now covers quickly now, backs right on off, gets on to Zoe Adams' wheel. We've got Marion Lawson, upper right. Look at Marion, cool as a cucumber, as you can see there. At the back, she's the avatar at the back with the light blue Tron here at this point. And
here she goes.
And we've got Penner now chilling out. Is she coming through?
Yeah, that's going to be Lawson.
She backs off to 1.7. No big orange numbers really there. I think she was just making sure nothing was really able to get away there at this point. But wow, this has been close. Now Adam goes to the front again. Power-ups being thrown. It looks like Lutfi is looking for something better than a draft. That's kind of risky. Everyone else, Dave, did you notice how no one else used a power-up? Everyone else is happy with what they have. They're all happy with what they have.
They're using Zoe Adam as a power-up right now, to tell you the truth. This is where Zoe, with coming in, is not as much experience as some of the other riders. They're on the front now.
But Lutfi there, Dave, Lutfi was not happy with her power-up. Everyone else was. Now, what will she get? If you get into Lutfi's mind there, okay, now the risk is, and is she is she hitting the table like, oh, I didn't get what I wanted, and she has another draft now at this point? Because what amazes me there, Dave, is that nobody else used. Now, did everyone else use their power-ups earlier? That's another question. But I would have assumed that a few of them might have had them still and are pretty happy with what they had at this point. Just an interesting point there as far as power-ups go. Lutfi on the reset.
Well, and there was no need to use it as well, right? I mean, if you had that feather, you're going to keep it.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, well, I mean, that's an interesting point as well. I mean, we saw a lot of races won with different power-ups depending on how you're going to sprint. It flattens out, right, Dave? It flattens out, I mean, and then we've seen over and over again that same section. Arrow, feather, draft, I don't know. I think I would want the arrow.
But you're also, any one of them you can use effectively. Sure. As well. Yep. So it's not like there's a complete loser of a power-up, which is sometimes, like if you had an anvil. That's a terrible example. But all right, let's take a look, though, because, Nathan, it's going to come down to a sprint at this point. I'm amazed. I know that I said our winner would be alone when she came across the line. So I'm as stunned as I could be, but it speaks to the quality of the racing that we've seen out here today. Nobody could just ride away with this one based on just pure ability. It came down to a tactical slugfest. And here we go. Monali Keller does not want to play around. She's going to go out early.
Yeah, Keller now pushes hard, 10 watts per kilogram. That's pretty full all in here. Look at Penner in the lower right there, just trying to hold on, putting everything down that she can. Dave, this is a fairly all-in move, it looks like, from Keller here to try and separate, but Lutfi's right on the wheel. Lutfi knows exactly where to be. Penner now, a little bit of separation between Lutfi and Penner now at this point. A little bit there also for Gagnon now. Lawson's off the back. Adam is gone. Adam is gone now. Here at this point. It looks like 2 seconds, Dave.
Wow, so Monali still riding the front like a boss. If she's going to win this one, it's going to not be subtle, is it, Nathan?
Look at Gagnon. Look at Gagnon sitting. She looks so comfortable, Dave. How? This is insane. Is she going to be... I don't know if she has the sprint, though. I don't know if Michelle has the sprint for it here. She's got to go at a certain point.
Well, there she goes. That's going to be Michelle rolling off of the front right now. So Michelle Gagnon has gone. Now, Zoe Adam in the orange jersey coming up and over the top. So Zoe Adam has hit out with authority. Will the young rider have enough? Here we go. It's going to be fireworks left, right, and center, Nathan. It's finale time. Canadian National Esports Championships all on the line.
Yeah, and here we go, and it's going to be a sprint to the line here at this point, unless somebody goes with a 1K to go at this point, but I don't think it's going to be happening now as it's going to be Gagnon to the front. Adam sitting second wheel, maybe going to be the lead out now at this point. She seems to just like to set ahead pace. Lawson's sitting third, Dave. Lawson is sitting third.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, it's almost impossible to try to predict how this is going to play out. We're just going to have to enjoy it. Zoe Adam back to the front now. Michelle Gagnon, second wheel. The big engines are sitting back, and now they've hit out Tiffany Penner in the light blue jersey now moving to the front, and the sprint has started behind her.
Michelle Gagnon, she's the first one to go. Up and out of the saddle. Michelle's got a big gap here now at this point. Here comes Gagnon. Gagnon now kicking. Is she going to be able to hold on to it? She's got a huge gap, Dave. 11 watts per kilogram. Lutfi's now kicking all in, but, well, Dave, we haven't seen it succeed once. We have not seen it succeed once. Will she be able to do it? Oh, my gosh, Michelle Gagnon, all the way to the line. Penner's trying to come. Lutfi's trying to come. Dave, I think she's got the gap. She may have done it.
Oh, it's going to go right down to the line. This is huge to the brave Michelle Gagnon. It looks like she's Canadian Esports champion.
My gosh, she did it. That was amazing.
Timing it perfectly. That's incredible. Really, truly. I don't know if you call that an upset, but what you do call that is a beautiful, beautiful win. What a way to take out of that group of danger women, Michelle Gagnon out of Quebec City. That's how you do it. That's your freshly minted Canadian Esports champion.
Oh, my gosh.
That's going to feel incredible.
That was good racing. Oh, my goodness. Like, what a show. What a way to go with right at the line there. Michelle Gagnon taking the last 500 meters, completely dominating and just going for it. It was not successful, not once, Dave, throughout the entire weekend so far, but Michelle makes it happen.
Yeah, that comes down to sheer will. It was Lex Albrecht, the Canadian, that taught me the phrase Canuck up, and that's exactly what we witnessed there. She timed it right, but I mean, Nathan, again, all of the training and the willpower, there's an element of brains that come in, but pure desire is another thing. So the 28-year-old is now Canadian Esports national champion. That's a huge, huge win. Out of that quality field, and I have to say that the racing that we've been seeing in our national championships here on Zwift has been top notch. As a matter of fact, two of the best races, Nathan, that we've seen over the last few years have been both the U.S. and now the Canadian national championships for the women. Ooh la la.
Dave, I have to agree with you that the community is showing up for these jerseys. Don't you love it when you put that national pride on the table and they're like, look, I'm going to show up and represent, and this is my people when it comes to cycling. And I've got to say, all day yesterday, I did a bunch of recording, hanging out with this crew from Cycling Canada, and it's been so awesome, actually. They obviously really know each other and are a very tight-knit community when it comes to cycling, and they know they're cycling. Dave, that was masterclass. You say it all the time about being a chess match. She waited for checkmate. I mean, every single move, we never saw her push too much into the orange numbers. We never saw her really, really stick her nose in the wind. And then with like 400 meters to go, boom, that was it. Lights out, waited for the KO punch.
Yeah, she put her foot on the throat of that bike race there for the last 200 meters. And Nathan, you said it perfectly. Nobody else did it. We saw at least 8 different attempts, but only Michelle Gagnon is able to pull that off. So that's a quality win. And it fits, as you said, Nathan, something about these national championships. It's not surprising. It elevates the racing, the community to a completely different level. I'm so proud that we get to do this on Zwift Community Live. So we're not done. Men coming up next. But, when you look at the quality of your champions, a lot of that comes from the quality of the event that they participated in. And I have to say, agreeing with what you said about Cycling Canada, Josh and that crew there, world class. And that's how you build your nation. It doesn't happen from the top down. It happens by building it from the bottom up. For sure, that's what's happening in Canada right now.
Let's take a quick look at our results, and then we'll see if we can get an interview with our winner here in just a moment. But your results for the Women's Elite 2024 Canadian Esports Championships. Dave, here's your provisional results.
It's really noteworthy here. It's not only Michelle Gagnon taking the win out of Quebec City, but how about Ziena Lutfi as well, the Revo rider, who certainly exceeds expectations and ends up with the silver medal. Bright days to come for Ziena Lutfi. There, Monali Keller ends up with third, a proud Canadian, and certainly you'll be hearing a lot more from Monali Keller. She'll take the bronze medal for Aeonian. Tiffany Penner, can't wait to see what's next for Tiffany Penner. As Marion Lawson ends up in fifth today, Zoe Adam. That might have been the breakthrough star of the day, the young talent there in sixth place. Miriam Paquette, boy, all heart, that's for sure for Miriam. She'll end up in seventh. Then Justine Calder. Keep it going, Justine. That rounds out our top 8 for our Women's Elite, our provisional results here for the Canadian Esports Championship.
I think we do have our winner. I can let her know. Michelle, we could hear you just a moment ago. We'll see if she comes back to the camera. She's closing the door. I think it's kind of cold in there. As I saw her just closing the door. We'll see if make sure that she can hear us. Michelle, do you got us? Can you hear us? Double checking. Maybe she turned off her sound there. But real quickly, Michelle, do you have us? Can you hear us okay? I think we have sound. Check 1, 2. Michelle?
Hello. Yeah.
There we go. Can you hear us okay, Michelle?
Bad.
Yes? Let's see. Check 1, 2.
Yeah, I hear you guys. Yep.
Okay, great. Dave, you want to try and take this away for us?
Yeah,
Michelle, congratulations. Talk to me about that race. One, it was absolutely brilliant to watch. But was it your mental part, knowing how to play your cards?
Oh, there may be a little bit of a lag. Oh, it's too bad. I think we have a little bit of a lag here between maybe a rejoin of the channel. as I think that her Zoom call just is a little bit behind there, so that's too bad to see. Sorry about that, everybody. Hopefully we can get her on. Maybe if she reloads her call
during the men's race.
Yeah, maybe during the men's race at the beginning part of the men's race there, everybody. Apologies on that. Yeah, because we really would love to jump in with her. We'll see if we can bring in another interview or not in just a moment, everybody. But it looks like no go on that one. Well, Dave, we've got the men's race coming up in about 20 minutes. Let's take a quick little look here at a replay of how that ended up playing out, though, in the ladies just a moment ago, because that was some of the best racing I've absolutely seen. As far as Michelle Gagnon, I mean, the timing that she pulled off there we hadn't seen that all weekend long.
Yeah, well, we can talk a lot about tactics, but really if you go back and watch this last lap, you can see that everybody did what they could to try to win this race. And Michelle was incredibly courageous in really what she didn't do and then what she did do at the end of this race. She didn't take the bait when Monali Keller attacked, and she was able to go over the top of that. So going back, this is really, even though we're still quite a ways from the finish line here, this right here is the moment that she won the race, because this is where she's committed now to. So it's either going to be a win, Nathan, or a 5th place for Michelle here. And that is how you personify courage. As you know, at this point now, the gap isn't huge. She hasn't completely snapped the elastic, as you realize that Ziena Lutfi is still right there. But this is where she doubles down, believing in herself. And Michelle now is just continuing to wail away with that sledgehammer. One more swing and she's national champion. And it doesn't get any more beautiful than that, to tell you the truth. She believed in herself. She went up against some of the giants of the sport. I mean, in Canadian esports, we've talked a lot about the Aeonian rider, Monali Keller, who ended up in 3rd. And, you know, the great story of Zoe Adam out here today, coming out of the woodwork, to tell you the truth. Ziena Lutfi ends up with the silver medal. But what makes it even, got to give Tiffany Penner credit as well, Nathan, as she stays in that group, rode an extremely smart race. So actually, to be fair to Tiffany Penner, very similar to what we saw from Michelle Gagnon today. They rode really, really well against some of the top riders in the sport to get a great result.
Let's try one more time. I'm going to see if we can bring in Michelle. Can you hear us okay this time and a little quicker? But I have no audio from you, Michelle. Now I have no audio from you. Oh, no. She can hear us on time now, but I think that she disconnected her. Yes, we have you.
Crazy.
Yay!
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. That's great. Wow. What a race. That's probably what it is. Well, you're in Belgium. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
my
where I live,
gosh.
actually.
Okay. Dave, why don't you take it away for us here?
Hey, congratulations. Talk to us about what was going through your head as you came into that last lap. Was it Monali Keller that you were keying off? I mean, what an exceptional experience to watch you race like that. But tell me, what was going through your head as you came into 1 lap to go?
Well, the pace had slowed down quite a bit, so I was just trying to sit in and keep my energy for the end, knowing I have a decent sprint, but I was pretty afraid of Keller, to be honest. Seeing those numbers, I was like, I can't take her to the line, so I'll have to go pretty early on, which is what I did, and thankfully it worked out. But I was just planning to sit in, rest up, and try to kick it for the last 700 meters, and it all worked out.
That, you know, it's really beautiful when a plan comes together, Michelle, that's for sure. Talk to me about the feeling about being a national champion. There's a lot of pride around sports, not just cycling, but sports in Canada. Now you are a freshly minted national champion. Talk to me about what that means to you.
It means everything. I can't even put it into words. Like, here, living in Belgium, racing in Belgium on the road, not on esports, I'm so honored and proud to be racing for Canada. It's not, cycling in Canada isn't the typical Canadian sport, so it's really cool for us to be able to showcase what we're good at.
Talk to me about the level in that front group. When you looked around, we were very, very impressed by not just the Monelly Kellers, but the other women. I mean, it felt like any one of you could have won that race. What did you think when you looked around at your Danger women?
Oh, I was terrified. Honestly, the strength in those women was tough. It wasn't a one race, and I had no idea how it was going to turn out. We've got some good women from Canada, so it was a lot of fun. It wasn't easy. Every single climb, it was just attack after attack. It was pretty tough.
Can I jump in real quick here, Dave? Just it seemed to me, from a tactical point of view, everyone had a little bit of a different way that they were going to race the race. A couple of riders wanted to just make it hard the entire time, really stayed at the front. Other riders, it was punch, punch, punch. You saw those orange numbers going. For you, I mean, I couldn't help but notice, it seemed to me that your plan was to wait and wait and wait until exactly when you went.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I was trying to sit in as much as I could and keep it to the end, knowing that esports racing is so much different than on the road. Yeah, I just wanted to sit in, save as much energy as I could for the finish.
That,
Final question from me, then, just from your perspective. I've always said this when Nathan and I are doing the Zwift Community Live broadcast, but the quality of a victory is going to be judged by the quality of your competition. Is that fair?
Oh, I totally agree. 100%. 100%. And these women, they're strong. So I'm really proud to come out with that. That's for sure.
World class. Back to you, Nathan.
yeah, thank you so much, Michelle. Congratulations on your esports national championship. It was great to have you here on the program. Well, everybody, that is your 2024 Women's Esports Elite National Champion for Canada. We've got the men's race coming up in 15 minutes. We'll do some lead-in for that race in just a moment. We got some of them warming up actually on their trainers, getting ready to go. There's plenty of action still here to come at you, but we are going to take a short break before we get into the men's race. We'll be for about 10 minutes, and we'll be back in with you for the Men's Elite National Championship that kicks off at 30 past the hour. Well, hello and welcome back to the 2024 Canadian Esports Championships. I'm Nathan Guerra, Dave Toll. If you're just joining us, we just got done broadcasting the Elite Women's Race that'll be available for you on Zwift Community Live channels as well as on Cyclisme Canada's Facebook if you want to watch that back. But we got the Elite Men kicking off in just about 3 minutes here, Dave. And this is, I think, going to be just as hotly contested. You know, I got to say, Dave, I do a lot of racing on Zwift. And whenever I see a Canadian flag with a few of these specific riders, because they're in my same time zone, I know it's really, really going to hurt. I ride with a few of them actually on my team time trial team as well. And they can put the pain on. They've been dropped plenty of times by a few of these riders.
Canadian esports racers know how to pack a punch. That is for sure. How about that women's race? I just had about 15 messages from folks who enjoyed the broadcast, including the American Elise Gallegos watching with her kids cheering on the Canadians. So very, very encouraging to see the state of sport right now. That's for sure. And you're absolutely right, Nathan. These guys, again, I think the term is punch above their weight. That's for sure. So can't wait to see what we've got. Same thing. We're going to head back to Scotland. It's the perfect course to race a championship event on, isn't it? When you talk about rolling highlands.
Yeah, it is actually, Dave, as we go down to the pens to watch them take off. We got a minute 31 rolling highlands for 4 laps. So definitely something, you know, as far as this course goes. Why don't we talk a little bit about this course for some of those that might be newer to the world of Zwift when this was introduced? We've got about minute 15 here, Dave. 4 laps. What is this course like and what was it all about releasing this world's course?
Yeah, it's a 9-kilometer circuit that really is world championship caliber. It's absolutely perfect for what we're looking to do, which is select using not just physical ability, but tactical wherewithal as well. It really, I mean, just like you saw in that women's race, although it was a slightly smaller group that they raced out of, it really was a tactical masterpiece that we witnessed from Michelle Gagnon, our women's champion. And the men's winner is going to need to be racing at that same level as well. So as we get ready to count down for launch, it's always an honor, isn't it, Nathan, to be a part of a national championship. And in this case, it's the Canadian Esports Elite Men that we're just about to launch into orbit here from Space Station Canada. So, all right, Nathan, here we go. Again, not a huge group. It's a high quality field that we've got as these riders will start to ramp it up. Esports start a little bit different than it used to be a few years ago, especially knowing that we've got over 40K of racing. We've got the big 3 as far as power-ups, and it's time to say andiamo. Let's go get them, guys.
Yeah, we've got Jeremy Ray, upper right-hand corner. One of the favorites, I would say, for sure out here today, Jeremy. Definitely a strong rider that's got a really, really good punch. Another rider also to be watching out for, I think, out here today is going to be Odette. I believe we've got Thomas Thrall, though, out here today, Dave, from Next Esports. Always a danger man in any field that he's in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could start with Thomas Thrall, certainly. I mean, his teammate, his trade teammate, talking about next and short, Brian Diddy Jr. taking the U.S. National Championship. And yeah, I would certainly wouldn't look too much further than Thrall when you have your favorites out here, as it looks like JP Leclerc, the restart rider. Boy, restart has been a whole new, I mean, they've been around for years, but certainly redoubling their effort. There's a whole new energy around that team. So we'll be watching out for Leclerc. Warren Meir taking the start as well. There's a guy it's not hard to imagine as national champion. Thomas Thrall looks too nice to be a stone cold killer, which we know that he is. That's all just a fake image that he puts out there.
What's going on right from the get-go here, Dave? What's it? Wait! I missed this actually here. Harris, Dave, right from the gun, just says, "I'm going 5.3 watts per kilogram." This is looking for a 40K time trial here, Dave. Nobody's responding. They're watching him go away here from the Toronto Hustle.
So Toronto Hustle, Nathan, have been around for also, I'm going to say we're on a decade at this point. They've really been Canada's national criterium team, I would say, or one of the teams like Jet Fuel that have represented Canada quite well around North America in the racing scene. And Patrick Harris is going to play his trump card immediately here. Well, or we'll see. This might just be an opening salvo and then settle back in, but it looks like he's going big, Nathan. He's rolling this out to 6-7 seconds now. So, all right, this is definitely zigging when others zag, but it's going to make things interesting out here. We're not even out onto lap number 1 yet, to tell you the truth.
It's just the lead-in.
Yeah, like this is the 5K lead-in that we're on here. So we'll let you know once the race proper has begun out on course. This is literally racing to get onto the circuit.
Yeah, this is Patrick Harris in camera here and giving us a little bit of a go. He's coming out of Toronto, Ontario, 18 years of age. And for Hustle Pro Cycling. So, this is good to see from the youngster, putting some of the more experienced veterans out here to the challenge. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's gone out to 8 seconds now.
Responses are coming. Responses are coming here, though, Dave. I mean, like they can't let that get too far out. So, but Dave, what could happen is you could end up with a situation where somebody they bridge across, and his extra wheel just is that little bit. Well,
you could. I mean, Nathan, he's impacting the race. He's having a major impact on the race right now, as they weren't going to let him roll that out to 15, 20, 30 seconds and then all of a sudden watch a grass fire turn into a structure fire on the plains outside of Edmonton. They decided they were going to, and look at that, Thomas Thrall taking matters into his own hands right now. So they didn't ease into this one, did they?
No, they definitely didn't. This is full gas right from the get-go. Harris now over the top. It looks like Audette is there as well now, coming up over the top as Thrall backs off and goes into the pack. They're going to hit into the forest here in just a second. This is the only time they will go through this misty forest, actually, for the entirety of the race in this direction. They go every lap the other direction, so they'll see the other direction 4 times. Only time that they head this direction through the forest, and now it's going to be a little bit of a downhill, 1%. He is caught, but good job on Harris making that move early and forcing everybody to not just sit around kind of lackadaisically. I like it that he kicked it from the get-go.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something that is that youth and ambition, right? Nothing wrong with it. Not going to throw any shade. I enjoy watching someone stir the pot like that. So things have settled back down. Did everybody make it, though? Did any riders get dropped out of this group?
Everyone's
I don't
here.
think so.
Everyone is here.
Yeah, everyone did make it.
Yep.
So
I'm hearing 15 riders left the pens. 15 riders have left the pens, and so
that's
in
exactly
total,
what we've got.
So 15 are here, and all Grupo Compacto now, as we are in with Audette, who is taking over at the front of the race for a moment. Currently, let's double check those rates. They're 165 beats per minute, 220 watts. Pretty chill as far as the wattage goes, but the heart rate's high. Maybe a little excited out here today.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just sort of the old school fury that they saw there at the very beginning has everybody on their toes out here, as Anthony O'Day very much looks the role of a bike racer here, attentive, alert. And
yeah, and
I do think
Maria Quebec, 28 years old, kinesiology is what he's studying, actually. And
muscles.
He rides for the Muscles. Academy, actually. His outdoor team is the Academy, which is pretty cool.
It's interesting. I always think of kinesiology, Nathan, as the study of muscles, but I'm realizing it must be something much more
movement.
advanced.
It's movement.
It's movement.
Yeah, it's
there
movement, I believe. And this is actually going to be Anthony here as he sits in. And
human body movement addresses physiological, anatomical, and biomechanical. There you have it.
Was that Google or was that chat? That's what I want to know. Which
that
one was
Google.
It? That was Google.
Yeah.
Chat, Google, same thing, just about. Josh now on the attack here. As Josh at the front, Big move, it looks like, early on here. Breakaway Bray, though, that's going to be the moment every time because it says breakaway. Why not give it a go at its namesake?
Yeah, exactly. It says it right on the label. So, all right, here we go. This is going to make the first real, well, I shouldn't say it. This is not the first real move of the race. We're into chapter 2 or chapter 3 even, but they're going to throw something at the peloton here as this 15-rider group is able to respond. So they're going to keep it together for right now as we head out. This basically begins the first of 4 laps out here on the Rolling Highlands.
Nice little move here from Sam Josh as we're able to bring him in, and it looks like he's spent a good amount of energy actually so far. Sam Josh, not familiar with this rider. 191 beats per minute. Good to see him showing up out here today. I have to get a double check on what his current ZRA ranking is and how many races that he's got. What level is it? What did they say? It's a level 40 Zwifter. So he's got some experience underneath his belt. That's for sure.
So Sam Josh up on the front. It looks like that's going to be Anthony O'Day moving up now. It's scary when you see all these Canadian flags, isn't it, Nathan? That'd be your worst nightmare for one of your evening races. This, what a force to be reckoned with. But this is our Canadian National Championship. There's one of our rhinos. That's the other end of the spectrum as far as the charge on his battery.
95. There. This guy's Benjamin Bringlow. We're the same level. Like, this guy is a serious Zwifter. I mean, look, he's got the in real life kit on. He's got the Rhino racing background. This is a esports only team. And this guy's got the full setup. Absolutely loving, representing. Dave has Benjamin Bringlow. He could be showing up.
Monster.
I mean, if he wins out here today, talk about a success for esports in general too.
Oh, can you imagine? And the PR team around Rhino Racing will, the word will be spread around the planet. Nothing would be wrong with that, seeing a Rhino national champion. So good job, Benjamin. It's cool to start seeing. I mean, to see a level 95, you bat your eyes, don't you? But you realize that level 100 is possible. This is a nice way. Actually, look at the numbers that Benjamin puts up against one of the world's best in Thomas Thrall here. And I think, much like Nathan, our women's race, we talked with Monali Keller coming in as the prohibitive favorite or even just the straight up favorite. I think you could say the same thing about Thomas Thrall here. The experience that he has, the reputation, the race resume, all of it. Thomas Thrall is going to be a tough guy to beat today. And just looking at those numbers, yeah, that's a world-class esports racer that you're calling up. But Benjamin is right there in the conversation, and it looks like Martins and Sam Josh attacking now.
Yeah, Josh, again, seems to be the aggressor out here today, using up a lot of those matches early. We'll see if he can continue on with 187 beats per minute, like what I'm seeing from him here with that aggression. Now covered quickly by our man Patrick Harris from the Toronto Hustle. It was also going to be Martins. H. Martins, another rider I'm not extremely familiar with. Let's see if we can get some details on Henrik Martins as he joins us for the national championship out here today. Here's Henrik, currently level 57 and currently at 186 beats per minute, covering those moves out here today.
Very upbeat looking young man as well. Nathan, this has been the theme of the day as we're seeing some new faces showing up, and they're generally younger riders, which is encouraging for sure to see Henrik Martins with us today.
Got the new Quebec, 19 years of age. We've got a lot. Yeah, you're right, Dave. We've got a lot of students and youngsters jumping in here today. Tells us that Cycling Canada, Canadian cycling is strong when it comes to its youth programs. Something I was extremely impressed by when I visited Quebec for the Mountain Bike World Cup was the reality that there were entire fields full of youth out there riding mountain bikes with instructors. It warmed my heart to see, Dave. I wouldn't be surprised. That was long enough ago that it might be some of these youngsters here as well, Dave, that were coming up exactly through that program.
Yeah. Well, and Nathan, we're not on the payroll for Canadian cycling, but I am a big fan. And to be fair, Global Relay, which has such a huge impact on what you're talking about, giving resources, helping identify not only identify talent, but just get kids out on bikes. That's where it all starts. And esports is another way. I mean, you talk about talent identification. Well, I mean, you could also talk about just in general physical fitness, improving the morale of a country. And it looks like someone who's not going to be improving morale is going to be a man attacking off of the front. It's Patrick Harris. Here, this is the 18-year-old that attacked the start.
Connor Wilson. Connor Wilson,
excuse
actually.
me.
Yeah, that's all right, Dave. Connor
Teammate.
Wilson.
Or actually, you know what? It's Patrick Harris that's leading the chase back right now there. As Connor Wilson being joined, and now that is Harris, I believe. Yes, it is Harris over the top. Do Wilson and Harris start working together here now, Nathan? This is going to be interesting. We'll have
Sounds
to
like you're starting a business.
Yeah, sounds like a hardware.
It actually says he's 27 years of age, coming out of Collingwood, Ontario. I wouldn't be surprised if he's Collingwood. I saw that come up plenty yesterday in the Masters racing and the junior racing as well. But it says he's a professional cyclist. What's interesting though, Dave, I have no other information though on this 27-year-old coming out of Collingwood, Ontario. So we'll see if we can pull some more information. He's level 43.
I'm on
it. And Dave, this may be, you know, when it comes to national championships, you've got the Cycling Federation getting involved. Next thing you know, you got a big hitter coming out of nowhere.
I am going to guess that we're dealing with the mountain biker.
10 seconds.
Yeah, this is going to be really good, folks. Going to be really, really good. So, taking a look, we'll get some more information for you on Connor Wilson here.
You can't see him any longer. You can't see him. He's a skier now, a cross-country skier. Then is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like, which is hardly a surprise. As a matter of fact, wasn't I just talking about cross-country skiing and rowing being the two best sports to combine with your cycling? Well, I think that's exactly the case out here. Nathan, we've got a serious breakaway going clear at this point. Yes, it's 10 seconds, but it's only a 13 rider group that's chasing. You know who's right now, I'm not going to ever call him a big loser, but the guy behind the 8 ball is Thomas Thrall here, as a lot of folks are going to be looking at him in this group to chase this back.
Yeah, and that's when you've got such big hitters like Jeremy Ray. You've got a big hitter in obviously Leclerc there, also from Restart. You know, you've got Thomas Thrall, Bringwell, and then everybody else kind of looks at those. Well, Warren Muir, actually, to be honest, Dave, they're all looking at each other like, we know how strong you are. We're going to bring this back. But Dave, like you say with the grass fire, suddenly you could turn into something completely different here, Dave, and they're going to burn the house down.
This is really where the poker in cycling comes into play, right? Because Nathan, if you are, let's say you're Leclerc or Mir, well, you could chase this back yourself, most likely, but you're going to burn a lot of matches doing that, and you're going to be playing into the hands of Thomas Thrall, right? So do you let this go out to 30 seconds and all of a sudden get Thrall to panic and start chasing it back? I mean, this is awesome. The Machiavellian chess match that is elite esports racing is happening right in front of our eyes. There's a man who could win today. No doubt about it. Warren Muir comes in as one of the top three favorites for me.
Yeah, as you can see, coming out of Calgary, Alberta, 34 years of age. He's an intervention radiology supervisor. Rides for the Bike Shop Racing Team. It's a great name for a race team. Bike shops are important when it comes to biking. And Warren Muir, I believe, former national champion of Canada, as I do see him switching up his jersey, obviously, today. And I have ridden actually plenty with Muir in TTTs. This guy, if he gets into a break situation, solid 7 on the front when he takes his poles, I think here, Dave. Do not want to let this guy escape. Huge engine when it comes to Muir.
I was lucky enough to announce the Tour of Alberta a few years up there in Calgary. It generally ran from either Calgary to Edmonton or Edmonton to Calgary. I bet you Warren was inspired by that event. Had a nice run there. Peter Sagan was early in his career, had some success up there before he was world champion. So taking a look, though, at the guys out on lap number
16
1
seconds.
of 4.
16
Yeah,
seconds. They're continuing to open up, but I have a feeling, Dave, the real question marks will go away in just a moment, because the first time through that corkscrew castle, Dave, that is what's going to tell us how much time they are going to make on anybody off the front at this point, as we see Wilson now taking over at the front of this, but it's going to be Josh now here. Now they're kicking 8 watts per kilogram, though, still at the front, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, so you couldn't have chosen two guys that are going to be a bigger problem for you to put up the road. I mean, Connor Wilson, again, when you talk about his background, it's not in cycling, it's in some serious skiing. And it's actually, it's not cross-country skiing, though. It's slalom and downhill, giant slalom, that type of thing.
Big attack to go across here. 2 seconds here coming in from H. Martins. Martins now taking a move across. He's even used his feather power up. Dave, he's almost closed it down. It's 7 seconds up the road. He's almost got him within sight. Thrall now sees this as an issue as well, it looks like. Thomas Thrall looking to try and go across. Dave, all hands on deck, looking to close down this gap. It looks like, Dave, this might be coming back. Or we've got a bridge across. As Thrall backs off, it looks like he's got 2 seconds up the road still to Martins, who's still trying to go across. Restart just covers, but Dave, they're going to start just looking at the big hitters, and slowly other riders are going to start getting away, because they're like, oh, not a problem, not a problem. Next thing you know, you got 4 up the road.
Well, and I don't think that is going to happen here as these guys realize that they don't want to play around with that, right? Let's see. I think that was a bit of a statement coming from some of the bigger riders to realize, like, hey, when I flex, this is what happens. We can bring back 3-4 seconds in the course of 500 meters out here. So I think that was sort of everything's okay back here in this peloton moment, to tell you the truth, not to be too worried about the riders that are off at the front. And actually, at this point now, if I'm sitting back in the group that you've got on screen here, I'm going to be happy to let these guys sit out there, because they're clearly strong. So I'm going to let them go ahead and burn their matches for a bit now. I would feather this. I would not bring them right back. But
that's interesting point. Yeah, interesting point. I mean, 171 beats per minute.
Why?
You might be right, Dave. But it's going to be. I'm not sure that it's the kind of situation where they can just let them dangle. They're going to have to kind of work together to make that happen with the kind of power they're putting out up front there.
Which is actually, if you look at them right now, that's what they're doing, is they're letting them dangle, right? Mm-hmm. No one is coming over the top. They're just setting a nice cruiser pace here on the climb. And I think that they're happy. The foreshadow, that shot makes them look a little closer than they are. They're still holding on to 7 seconds. But at this point now, you can let them sit at 7 seconds. You've still got 26K of racing on a world championship caliber course. It's actually ideal to let them sit, especially with Wilson here, that he's a little scary, to tell you the truth. Patrick Harris, the other rider here, the 18-year-old, just out of the junior ranks, but certainly racing with a lot of maturity today.
Thomas Thrall now looking to go across, it looks like, here to get into the wheel of Leclerc, as Leclerc now goes with an arrow power up to try. And now this is going to set alarm bells off, though, Dave. This is a moment here. Yeah, when Leclerc starts to make a move, Jeremy Ray is getting involved now here as well, as you can see. Thomas Thrall is there. That's Jeremy Ray in the lower left-hand corner. You know, when they all start, as soon as those kind of names start making their way to the front to close things down, you know that the fireworks are about to pop, or at least there's some worry. And now all back together. Look how quick, you were right, Dave, how quickly, if they really wanted to, bam, solidified
all this. It took was Leclerc surging, and it brought it back, right? Because when Leclerc surged, all of a sudden Thrall's like, all right, I gotta go now. And that just moved us into the middle phase of this race. You nailed it, though. And here we go. Another attack is going to be. So the problem with making that catch, Nathan, is as soon as you do, you're dealing with a new attack.
And I like it that the races are definitely making the race. Nobody's just sitting around here flirting the do. Now, on the front, 4.1 watts per kilogram. Josh backs off, as you can see there. Sam Josh at 2.1. So they're going to just let this sit off the front. Dave, these guys are cagey racers. They really know what they're doing. They know how to cause a churn. I mean, how much kart racing are they doing? Because they are just perfect at the way they time things to make sure nothing gets too out of control and people just waste exactly the amount of energy that they want them to. There's a few riders in this group that know how to manipulate a group.
I mean, is it a Canadian thing, this KG racing? Because it's exactly
Well, it's
what we
really
saw
cold
from the
in
women
Canada
as well.
a lot, so I think they're very experienced at Zwifting.
Yeah, they have more time to think about it for sure. So we're taking a look now at yet another attack. So talk to me, Nathan, about what Fleury Nadeau is thinking here. Is he thinking end game, or is this more just trying to stimulate, maybe getting some other riders to come up and join him?
Yeah, I mean, I think perhaps it has a lot to do with setting up for an end game. You know, I think that there's, look, they're all going to sit back. I don't want to sit back. My chances, perhaps he's thinking also, are a lot better if I go off the front and get somebody to come across with me. Now, you know, I'm not sure as far as the level here with the riders, level 38. Riders might not be extremely familiar with him either, as far as like what his ability is in game. And so they're like, look, I'm looking for a rider maybe like Thrall to get into a break with. You know, Fleury here though, he's trying to instigate some riders to come across him is what I'm looking at right now.
Do you think that his profile picture is actually taken in Canada?
That
looks like California to this guy.
Yeah, you might be right there. 19 years of age, Saint-Agipit, Quebec. 19 years of age, and he's a student. He's a student. Tag Cycling. He rides for Tag, Dave.
Huh. Well, there you go. All right. So, I mean, again,
got 12 seconds, Dave. What's going on?
I was just going to say, if I'm sitting back in that peloton, all of that is not encouraging news to me, to tell you the truth. I mean, I'd be like, what? Like, clearly this guy's got some real talent. And this is, Nathan, this is exactly what I'm talking about when you say a rider coming out of the woodwork on you.
Yeah, and as you can see here, Dave,
23
the response is coming. The response is coming. It's a little bit of a kick here now being made from Wilson. Now over the top of Wilson, it is also going to be our buddy Patrick Harris that was right from the get-go. Still out there 11 seconds. And now, see, here's the thing. Sometimes you do this, right? You kind of use a little bit of energy here, and then you show your cards once you got a gap. That's what Nadeau is doing now. I just saw 6 watts per kilogram. Wow. We haven't seen that from him yet. Now he's consistently 5.4. Now you start to see a little more danger out of the rider.
Thrall, Leclerc, and Mir, Nathan, all three of them are just laying back right now, cooling their jets, waiting for the finale. Just noteworthy at this moment. What are the big three doing? Nothing.
Yeah, and this is something I definitely want to highlight
just enough,
here.
Actually,
I want to highlight
say nothing.
You know, This is something now. This might be from not having a lot of efforts as well on Zwift, because I think that Samuel Fleury Nadeau is definitely a strong rider, and perhaps we haven't seen top, but I mean, level racing that would pull out of him the kind of level we've seen from Jeremy Ray. But Jeremy Ray can do 9 watts per kilogram just about for 1 minute. 7.1 for 5, 5.6 for 20. He's rated Diamond 3260. That's top 100, I think, in the world. Jeremy Ray, I mean, this is the guy to watch out for next to Thomas Thrall out here today.
Yeah.
And then we have Samuel at the front here. But this is the thing. I think, Dave, this is the cards you play when you're a rider like this.
And I would... Well, I agree. And I bet you, Nathan, that if we told Samuel that I'd buy him lunch today if he could make over 11 watts per kilo for his 15-second power, he could do it in a heartbeat, right? I'm going to guess that he's never really, really gone for it there. I mean, if he's riding like this out here, I have a feeling he's got a better sprint than that.
I mean, he may just be a really good threshold rider
Endurance.
too. Yeah, you know, I mean 5.1 is no joke. 5.1 is no joke, but you may be right. We may have not seen a serious sprint from him in the past.
And his 5-minute power, Nathan, was 5.6. That's why I'm saying he can do more than 8.6 for his 15-second. You know, I mean, 5.6 5-minute power is really, really good.
It is. Really good.
So, all right, Patrick Harris. I would love to see his numbers, Nathan. I'm curious what this young man can do. This is the rider that attacked basically from the start, opened up, I'm going to say, as close to a 15-second advantage before things got serious. Wilson came up and joined at one point. They brought it all back together as we're rolling up on distance-wise the midpoint of this race. They'll complete lap number 2 here, leaving 2 laps to go. out on Rolling Highlands in a moment. Thank you. So that's going to be.
Yeah, Patrick Harris is on the right there. It's just a long name, so it comes through a little bit long there at the top. But you can see Patrick Harris, Toronto Hustle, 13.7. Sam Josh, I'm not sure we've seen a big sprint from him either. But
that's solid numbers from the young Patrick Harris.
Yeah, IMAX. Well, that's why he's got that pro jersey next to his name, right? I mean, literally has the UCI kit next to his name here, coming from Toronto Hustle. 9 seconds still for Samuel here at this point, though. He's holding steady through Postcard. Let's talk to these sections of the course, Dave. Postcard, as we call it, this is the long rolling section. Not really rolling, steady, I would say, uphill false flat, I should say.
Flat.
Yeah. As they go by the pins. And a lot of times it is a section where you can, if you're willing, make an extended break start to happen. We saw a lot of that come from the women's elite field.
Yeah, the feature on this course, Breakaway Bray, which has been super active out here, where we've seen some heroic moves being made today. This is absolutely stunningly beautiful course that was introduced for the Scottish World Championships just last year, the Mathieu van der Poel Worlds.
Big kicks now coming here. Here we go. It's going to be Gingras now making a move at the front. Also, Patrick Harris looking to go across on the right-hand side of your screen as they are going to use some roll-through speed most likely to bring this back as quickly as they possibly can, it seems to me. Dave, this is the new way of racing, it seems like. Downhills are the new uphills in Zwift. The new pack dynamics definitely reward some attacks on the downhill.
And I mean, Nathan, you've talked about it for years, to tell you the truth, the follow through, using speed and thinking in terms of momentum and speed and gameplay versus just the exercise contest, making watts and not making watts. It's so much more to it than that. This is going to be JP Leclerc that we're looking at now, the restart rider. I love the fact that Restart has stepped things up so much here. And it's not 2024. This goes back to JP Leclerc has been part of that revitalized team, no doubt. Another one of the truly, I mean, I kind of look at it, the Jamrosics, the Tepalorios, and the JP Leclercs. These are some of the really, really cool personalities in esports, Nathan, without any question. They lead in our community.
100%. And as Jean-Philippe is sitting in the pack here now at this point, seems like he's keeping things pretty cool, not super interested in chasing anything down. Been pretty quiet here up until this point, I think, but I don't think they're too worried about this break at this. And I think that they know that over the top of each one of these climbs, like we saw last time, there was a break off the front, came right on back.
Yeah, and you start to get a feel for the pattern of racing. One thing's for sure, though, is Michel Gagnon will impact the way riders go into the finale of this event. So taking a look now at a peloton that is relatively compact and not attacking itself right now. This is one of the few moments here where we get a look at a group that looks relatively content with the current race scenario.
One off the front still. It is going to be Fleury. He's just continuing on. I like his grit. I like it that he's not throwing the flag in, even though he sees them behind him at this point. But, I don't think it's going to be worth much, except for, he's got some TV time, that's for sure.
Yeah, and, I'm with you, Nathan. It's like at some point you wonder, well, what is the motivation behind this move? And I still think that he's waiting for someone to come up and join him and try to turn this into a 2 or 3 rider breakaway. It's just no one's accepting the invitation. There's no RSVP. Maybe
Josh
Sam will
move.
Get up there.
Yeah, Sam's making a little bit of a move, seeing if he can get across here. 4.7 watts per kilogram.
Exactly what
this timing, though, the timing here and the Zwiftcraft on it, in my opinion, Dave. Now Fleury here now to 2.9. I think he's got the writing on the wall. Right before Breakaway Bray, they're just going to go nutso anyways if they need to.
Yeah, well, and I expect that they maybe half nutso at this point now, not completely committing to it, but
I like it that we have nutso measurements. I have a nutso. I have a nutso. Oh my gosh, a ruler.
He's not
over
completely nutso. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
But you're right. What the heat from behind is going to be felt here in just a moment.
Fleury now 4.7 here on the front. And we're about to see, as you did say here, Toronto Hustle. Here we go. Now a little bit of a move. That's an early power up. A feather, actually, Dave, at this point, before they even really hit the uphill, that was very much anticipated to try and make some sort of a move. Now, it's not an all-in move. It was just, it isn't like 10 watts per kilogram or anything. 8 watts per kilogram, 490 watts into that 1 to 5 minute power range. Closes it down immediately. Jay Leclerc here. 2, Fleury. The response there from behind, all Grupo Compacto still, nobody getting dropped off from what I can see as they do make that catch. The rest of the pack here rolling right on through Nadeau. Now Harris is
small
there.
Enough peloton. Yeah, it's a little hard to say what the next kilometer holds for us here. It's starting to get really spicy in this group.
Yeah, and Dave, we do have one that has dropped off, I believe, now at this point. So that is going to be Audette now off the back. 14 riders, I think, at this point in this lead group. And we've got 2 to go, 23.3 kilometers in, 32 minutes of racing down, Dave. And there's a lot of patience in this group, Dave. There's a lot of patience. None of the big hitters have made any moves. They know how much is on the line. And I think that's exactly why.
I hate to say it, Nathan, but right now, Thomas Thrall is breathing through one nostril. He's not even using his whole nose. That's how comfortable he is in this group, right? I mean, so they're going to need to to beat him today, I have a feeling that the next lap, we're going to hear a little more from Warren Mir here, and JP, Jean-Philippe. They're going to need to get a little more aggressive if they want to beat Thomas Thrall today. They're going to need to ruffle his feathers here, Nathan.
Yeah, now we're in with Henrik Martins. He actually has
one nostril.
Look at this one nostril. This I like his Zwifty room. Nice and calm lighting there, it looks like. And
I wonder what the pictures are.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
A team? Yeah.
Maybe team.
They feel like they'd be former teams or like his soccer, most valuable player posters, those kind of things. So we'll have to find out more. I like the headband. Anna Russell would approve of that.
Nice headband, by the way. Nice headband, by the way. So,
what is he? Is that some SIS or what?
Yeah, I think he's taking getting a gel in. So yeah. And a lot of times the timing when you are going to eat is going to be when things are calmer. A lot easier to get things down when it looks like actually it's some sort of a bar or something. Even he's chewing. So.
He didn't have his Swannier pre-open the package either.
Tax moving here, Dave. Tax moving. Thrall now responding, so it must be something big here. If Thrall's responding, it's going to be Wilson actually again.
It's the first time that Thrall has really responded. Well, actually, the second time I'd say that Thrall has gotten up and given it some stick out here as we take a look at a group that, this is starting to activate. I think we're moving into the phase now of the back end of this race here as Patrick Harris has been extremely aggressive. These are the two that were in the early move, Nathan, Harris and Wilson.
Yeah, Harris and Wilson started a business early, failed on the first attempt. Let's see if they can get it off the ground as a new startup here. Harris and Wilson, 6.6 watts per kilogram. Henrik now to the front as well. A lot of the youngsters here taking it to the old schoolers, Dave. Really, I mean, that's kind of been the story so far, hasn't it? Like these newer riders and younger riders have been trying to take on the veterans of esports.
Yeah, well, and you could also flip the script on that, Nathan, and say, look at how the veterans of esports are calm and cool and letting these relative newcomers punch themselves right out of this race. Right?
Yeah, I was trying to be nice. I was definitely trying to be nice, knowing the firepower. And, you got it. Here's the thing. They might also know the talent that's in the field and that the chances are better.
Absolutely.
Our chances are better if there's a risky breakaway that succeeds, that it's the story that ends up having the narrative that you love to see, where there's a breakaway that just somehow gets that magic gift of a race one day.
You know what? That's a great point, because riding around and just sitting in the wheels and waiting to sprint with Thomas Thrall's not going to get it done. So you've got to try something else. And that's exactly what you're talking about. This is what, Wilson is back at it now. Again, he's solo now. This is, to me, the big question mark, though. A rider who comes in here with immense talent in other sports, it's not even other cycling disciplines, but completely different sports. But there's something about the inner fire, the will to win and desire. And that's exactly what we're looking at from Connor Wilson right now.
Yeah, it's good to see. And liking the effort. Now, so funny. It's the same rinse and repeat. 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds, response. 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds, response. Which one is going to be the response when we see the likes of Warren Meir, Jeremy Ray, where we see the likes of Thomas Thrall, Leclerc, etc.? And where is this going to be happening? And Jeremy Ray just said bye in chat. I thought perhaps is it like he was going to attack. Did someone leave? Like what happened there? There must be private messaging
really
going
telegraphing
on.
Your attack.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something going on here. There must be some chatting going on somewhere with some direct messaging, which is really interesting to see.
I think Ray for me might be the rider to keep an eye on the very most here. Jeremy Ray, that we're talking about, the Ascent rider, who this would be the biggest result of his esports career, but I think it's obtainable, to tell you the truth. That's really an exciting threshold to be on.
Bring it all as well from Rhino Racing, I think, would be a huge result. And, I think
his numbers look so good.
And that's the thing is, I have a feeling they know that, this crew, they know how evenly matched everybody is, and that when you've got 1 or 2%, when you watch the Tour de France and you're kind of like, why aren't they doing anything here? Why aren't they doing anything here? Come on, let's see some action. And it's because if you take too much of a risk, a right hook could come so quickly if you just don't bob and weave the right way. Next thing you know, you're out.
Yeah, it's just the reality of the sport. The second that they recognize that you've exposed yourself, they kill you. And it's that bad at that level where you can't afford to make a mistake or show. Here's an attack. It looks like we see, is this going to be the decisive move?
Gingras is making a move, actually, completely. As we had to look here on Bringall, he's at the back, actually. Jeremy Ray now is responding very quickly. So he's starting to mark the moves here as Gingras makes the move here now off the front. As Gingras, Esports Quidilcat now 8.3 watts per kilogram. This is a real move here from Gingras, and this is another rider that I'm not extremely familiar with here.
So sometimes the unintended consequences too, Nathan, where if you're going to pull your sword, you better be ready for a sword fight, because once the sword is out, it is on. And I think that that's what happened here is once that attack and then the cover, now we're starting to see riders getting antsy and nobody's going to trust anyone now. There's the cooperation in this group is going to be similar to the Donner Party here.
Simon Gingras is not a rider I'm extremely familiar with, but I think that this is a big hitter to be watching out for here now. Level 58, 182 beats per minute currently, 400 watts. Definitely has been extremely aggressive, and anytime that Simon has gone, they have followed. He's 19 years of age, coming out of Lorraine, Quebec, actually. Another youngster, but this one has kind of kept his powder dry compared to the rest of the crew here, Dave. And again, I think these veterans, they might have something to watch out for with these youngsters showing up and really taking it to them today.
When your weight in kilograms is equal to your level on Zwift, you're almost unbeatable. And he's level 58. So watch out.
This is a secret unlock?
Secret formula that I've uncovered.
We're going to have one to go in a moment here, Dave. We're going to have one to go in a moment. We've got 20 seconds up the road for Wilson.
Wow. This quietly went from 12 to 16 to 20. At what point should the alarm bells be ringing, Nathan? Now?
Well, I think the next time over the top of corkscrew is going to be mayhem. It's going to be corkscrew into the lock turn. They'll be crazy fast through that lock, through the bridge over the lock. And then there's going to be a massive attack going into the last lap, or completely negative. It'll be one or the other. Completely negative racing because they're going to have almost caught Wilson,
which is so unlikely, to tell you the truth. I'm with your. I think your prediction of it being ballistic is more.
Yeah,
likely,
I think these
Nathan.
things are about to go absolutely crazy because with 25 seconds, they know they have to bridge at this point, or C. Wilson might just win this race.
And you know what I'm saying about drawing the sword? Once one of these guys hits out, then they come over the top, the counterattacking, and then you move into that phase of just all out, full tilt boogie to the finish line. And this group, it's been relatively conservative. I wouldn't call it conservative, but I think that there's still a lot of horsepower packed into this peloton here.
Massive amounts of horsepower still. It's been Dave, this hasn't even started.
This group has barely started racing.
No, they haven't even started racing.
Yeah.
Really, it's been watching. It tells you the kind of pressure that they put on themselves when it comes to this esports championship. Just like you saw in the women's race, well, you know, with Michelle Gagnon, the way that she went about it, how she won that race, the timing, the one and done punch. That's what some of these riders are looking for.
Exactly, and I think that that's what the Thomas Thralls and certainly the JP Leclercs, that's the same. They're looking to follow Michelle's game plan, as Michelle really did show them how it's done. Problem is, Nathan, there's only enough room for one rider to fit through that hole.
Here we go. Josh now on the front. Sam Josh now at 8 watts per kilogram. Now 11 watts per kilogram. Big kick from Jeremy Ray just to hang on. It looks like Toronto Hustle now coming on through. It's going to be Patrick Harris here looking to close things down. He's still got 28 seconds. It's gone out even more.
28.
Feather Power Alps now going on at 30 seconds, Dave. Things are getting really dangerous here for the rest of the group here. See, Wilson continues on. They're going to close down a lot of time quickly, but if they start not working together or they start watching each other going, no, not me, not me, not me, he's going to just continue to open up this gap. Dave, it's danger at this moment for the pack. One to go in just a moment.
And you start to see Ray and Thrall moving up to the front. Leclerc as well. Brignall, the big names, are now moving up to the front to lead the chase. So they recognize that they've got a problem here with Wilson, our leader. 24 seconds is the advantage as we're down to 9K of racing. This is the chase that we're looking at here. That's going to be so Patrick Harris, who has been one of the real animators of the day. This young talent on the Toronto Hustle team is actually not leading the chase, but bridging now, or attempting to bridge up to Wilson, who he had been with a couple of times in 2 rider breakaways throughout this race. But now this is it. Can't afford to miss a step at this point. These guys all are going to put the nose down to the grindstone. Here we go, Nathan. It is last lap action. It looks like Harris is going to have some, excuse me. It's going
double
to be
Harris.
Harris.
2 Harrises. Harris and Harris now. So Patrick
Harris
and Owen Harris.
Yep.
Seriously, they have gone off the front now, and this is the first I've seen at all of Owen Harris. Honestly, from Future Racing here, this man is now going across the 7 watts per kilogram. Look at him, calm and collected. Very similar, I feel like, from what we saw from our women's leader. At the same point with 1 to go, pressing the pace. Thomas Thrall now looking to go across, it looks like here. But Dave, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Owen now. Another rider, not super familiar with him, coming out of the woodwork and looking to take a national championship.
This guy is an esports machine. Looking at Owen Harris right now. Again, Nathan, I'll be honest, not familiar with him, but certainly impressed by the cut of his jib as it's going to be Harris and Harris working together. They've got Wilson at 18 seconds as they lock that down, and it looks like Jeremy Ray, JP Leclerc, Warren Mir, Thomas Thrall. Okay, that's the murderer's row. They've all come up to the front of the chasing peloton. As a matter of fact, they're getting a little bit of a split now, it looks like, as they come through here. Well, not really a split, to tell you the truth, but that's a peloton in full flight. So we've moved into the final mode of this race, and Thomas Thrall now attacking out of the peloton. Here we go. Nathan, it is on like Donkey Kong here for our Canadian Esports Championships in 2024 as we go in cam with Thomas Thrall.
Thomas Thrall, Owen Harris on his wheel here. Owen was on the front with Patrick just a moment ago, but no, it's going to be Thrall now and Owen here being closed down perhaps, but they've got 2 seconds. Will they continue on? It looks like Thrall, Patrick, and Owen, all 3 of them, 1 second, but now they back off. 3.7. They're not interested. 14 seconds still to Wilson. Wilson is still off the front, everybody. Now Thrall goes enough. Thrall is up and out of the saddle and says, come on, enough is enough. We have a national championship to win, but he's doing the work. They're forcing Thrall to work, Dave. This is the last place he wants to be.
I can't believe that they actually got him onto the front at this point. So he probably can't believe it either. And he's getting off of the front now as he realizes that was not the play. So this is crazy. It is going to be a tactical masterpiece that our winner is going to have to put together, remembering now that gap from Wilson down to 13 seconds. So this activity back here with the chase, it really hasn't been a coordinated chase. It's just been the panic that is starting to bring this gap back, but it doesn't look great for Wilson right now. As we said, Nathan, these guys haven't really been burning the candle at both ends. That moment is coming, though, although they're still relatively conservative. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Wilson's advantage go back out a little bit now, as it just did.
Yeah, as you can see, the two in the bottom are in the pack. It's going to be Owen Harris and Jeremy Ray. Thrall now going on the attack, it looks like here. Jeremy Ray now responding very quickly, as you can see here. Yeah. Upper right-hand, as you can see, though, is still Wilson off the front, but Thrall, I think Thrall's kind of going all in at this point. He can see that the danger is up the road.
This is interesting. I mean, at some point, I don't know, I wouldn't call it frustration at all, but at some point now, you just got to go when you got to go. And I think that's where Thomas Thrall is. I'm surprised he doesn't hit a little bit harder out of this group and split it. But Thomas Thrall now taking matters into his own hands here late in the race. We're down to 6K to go. Wilson still holding on, but the advantage now that Thrall is starting to drop the hammer. Nathan, down under 10 seconds for the first time in a little while now from Wilson back to the peloton.
Yeah, and I think this is the writing on the wall. The catch is going to be made soon here. As you can see, Thrall was really hammering just a moment ago. Now finds himself back in the pack. Look at him, asking for the fan maybe to get turned on a little bit more. I mean, is Thrall, is he hurting? He's got a little bit of smile on his face.
His bike. He looks like he's mad at the bike. I'm just kidding. I wonder who he's communicating with.
Somebody's helping. Yep. I mean, you got to have a little bit of help sometimes. When a national championship is on the line, having somebody there for something at any given moment is absolutely key.
So he's still sitting back in this group. You know, you got to love the ride that we've seen from, Jeremy Ray,
I like this from Owen.
And this is going to be big null, right?
Owen Harris continues to do this. Just continues to press and press and press. I love what I'm seeing from this rider. Now Thrall goes into 9 watts per kilogram, looking to respond very quickly here. But Owen Harris is a phenom. This is somebody coming out of the woodwork for sure.
Yeah, and that's going to be the rider there with the black jersey, with the pink highlights. That's Owen Wilson, and that should shut down, Owen Harris, and that should shut down this attack from Wilson here. I think the catch is imminent at this point. Look at this now. Jeremy Ray up and out of the saddle as he's flogging himself like a rented mule right now.
This might be the moment. This is the moment. This is it. I was waiting for this, and I knew it. There it is. All in. Look at Ray go. 14 watts per kilogram, Dave. That's the one and done punch he's looking for. Goes right by Wilson here. 54 kilometers per hour. Nobody responding. 12 watts per kilogram from Thrall. Look at the faces on him, Dave.
Okay, this is the game right now. How quickly can he recover after that super effort here? So right now he's really just scooping in oxygen like a Hoover vacuum, trying to reload his muscles. He's got the gap. That was a picture perfect attack. That's how you get the gap. Now it's about a quick recovery and then going into a steady state effort. Can he win the bike race with that move, Nathan?
Whew, there it is right here, Dave. This is it. This is the battle right here. Thrall versus Ray. Head to head. Thrall, 9 watts per kilogram, kicking everything he's got. Jeremy Ray hitting the postcard section here right now at this point. 425 watts. Thomas Thrall, 9 watts per kilogram, still in the orange numbers, almost down to 7 here. He's got it down to 2 seconds. Ray uses the narrow power up even, Dave, and kicks again.
Absolutely bananas what we're looking at. This is how much the Canadian Esports National Championships mean to these guys. As Thomas Thrall absolutely turning himself inside out. Thrall now in pursuit. Jeremy Ray with a absolute tactical masterpiece, but is it enough? They're down to 3.5. Let's call it 3.5K of racing remaining. This has been absolutely insane to get to this point, and it looks like we squared off now. It's like Godzilla and Mothra battling off the coast of Vancouver. Who's going to take this one? Can Thomas Thrall close it down as Jeremy Ray is absolutely screwing up the barrel now?
Hands down, Dave. 3.9 watts per kilogram. He's fading. Jeremy Ray continues on at 7 watts per kilogram. Dave, he might have done it. He may be winning his national championship from way out. And we have not seen it happen once. Not once, Dave, on Rolling Highlands. It is a long ways out, but Dave, like 20 seconds? They've got 5-6K at this point? I don't know.
Yeah, well, they've got less than that even. But, I mean, 20 seconds. This is going to be market at 20 here. We'll call it 3K to go. Nathan, this is going to be, I mean, if Jeremy Ray wins, which I give him a better than 50% chance of with that move, he completely committed. He had a plan. There was no playing around with what he did. He kept as much charge on his battery until the moment when he pulled the pin, and that man has absolutely exploded here at the Canadian Esports National Championship. At some point, though, he's going to have to start tapping on the gauge because he will start running out of fuse. Now, what's amazing is Thomas Thrall throwing in the towel for the moment. He's gone.
5.2 now. 5.2 now, though. Thrall has 4.7. Thrall is coming back a little bit. Let's look at these comparisons. Well, Ray does have the numbers. He's got the numbers. Real quickly, I just wanted to show this. This is the head-to-head here when it comes to the raw numbers that they have on record here. Ray at 16 seconds. I thought, oh no, you're right, Dave. Ray's just trying to reset a little bit. He's getting into 4.5.
He's calibrating his effort off of Thrall now. I really think
Thrall
that
might get caught. Thrall might get caught actually here.
I'm surprised. You know what? It's going to be interesting. I think Thrall stays away from silver, but I don't think that he's going to be able to bring back Jeremy Ray. There's no way the peloton catches Ray. And it doesn't look, I mean, Thrall, it looked like he was blowing a gasket there, was able to recover, get back onto the gas, but just a little too late right now.
A little bit of a new conversation, Dave. New conversation a little bit here. Owen Harris on the front. Again, this man has been super aggressive, comes over the top. They collect new power-ups. Patrick Harris is there as well. They've got Thrall within his sights. Only 7 seconds now, Dave. And Owen is driving the pace.
Remembering that I truly believe that they're racing for the silver medal unless he absolutely blows to bits. Talking about Jeremy Ray, but this looks like that's the silver spot that these guys are going to be competing for.
The speeds are high though, Dave. He's already lost 5 seconds. This isn't done. Ray's got a reserve, though, to kick hard over he loses the most time in the climbs, right? He loses the most time in the climbs. Is he reserving for a big punch doing 4.1, 4.2 watts per kilogram? I think that's his plan here.
I do too, and I really think the way he established that gap again, that is not Ray on the green Tron bike. That is going to be Thomas Thrall that we're looking at. Jeremy Ray up there in the top left, or excuse me, the top right is our leader, holding on to 20 and make it 19 seconds. But what's even more important, he's another half K closer to the finish line, and he only gave up 1 second in that last 500 meters. So that certainly favors him when you start running those numbers out and extrapolate that. So starting to look better and better for Jeremy Ray as he takes it down to just around 1K to go. Thomas Thrall now really fighting, but he didn't come here for silver, that's for sure. So Thomas Thrall right now up and out of the saddle. Jeremy Ray still got more to give here, Nathan. He's actually back into orange numbers again.
Yeah, 10 seconds. It came all the way down to 10 seconds. Jeremy was resting up to make sure he had the punch to take speed up and over the top. That has to be what he was doing. Instead of continuing on at 5 or 6 watts per kilogram, look at the numbers behind though here, Dave. Oh my goodness, they are kicking 13, 14 watts per kilogram. The catch is going to be made on Thrall here in just a moment. Here is the chase. There is Patrick Harris. Here's Warren Muir. Warren Muir still involved here, Dave. Can he get a ride? Can he get a ride to try and make something happen here for a podium? Warren Muir still looking at a bronze or a silver, maybe a gold if they can close it down. Jeremy Ray's down to 2.2 watts per kilogram at 13 seconds here with still only about 2K to go.
Here comes JP Leclerc as well. How about this ride from Patrick Harris out here today? He's right there with all the big hitters. The real story now is 10 seconds enough for Jeremy Ray? This is where you start looking at the numbers coming down, and they start coming down quickly. But I think that he's got it. This is quite a charge. Patrick Harris is going to really make his name out here today. Thomas Thrall still holding on. The story is, can Jeremy Ray hold on and be the king of Canada? It looks like right now he's scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Oh no, Dave, it's 5 seconds. I don't know if he's got anything left. He's fading 3.7, 4.1. Is he resting now because he thinks he can't handle it because Toronto Hustle is coming? Here comes Harris. Patrick Harris is now pushing Dave.
I still think that Ray has got it. It's just got to find that grind now.
I don't
This
know,
is
Dave.
where
It's
it
gonna
really,
be so
really hurts.
close. I think it might not be happening. Look at Harris. Look at Patrick Harris making the chase. Now Owen Harris is there as well, trying to make the chase, Dave. Jeremy Ray up and over the side. They got him within his sights. He's within sight.
Yeah, and I still think he's got it. I mean, that gap is, oh boy, this is what it's all about. If you want it, you got to earn it. One last effort. His legs have got to be completely pooled with lactic acid. This is it. Maple Leaf Dreams. Will it come true? JP Leclerc trying to close it down. Did they time it right? This is it. They got him. Oh.
I thought it was over. But it looks like it might be Leclerc. No, is it Leclerc? Leclerc. No, Warren Mir. Is he going to do it again? It's going to be Mir. It looks like Mir to the line. Warren Mir right to the line. No, it's going to be Thomas Thrall. Thomas Thrall coming back. Thomas Thrall. No way. He just did it. I can't believe he did it. He did it. Thomas Thrall did it. Oh my gosh. How did he do it?
Unbelievable. So that race was won and lost 10 times in the last 30 seconds. That's courage personified. Thomas Thrall, the Canadian Esports national champion. I don't know how you could ever put someone through the ringer more than Thomas Thrall went through to win that one.
That was insane. How? Oh my gosh, Thomas Thrall for the win. That was amazing. Dave, I can't.
Craziest finish I think we've seen. I mean, we've seen some great racing, but that one was wild. Absolute pandemonium. I think, Nathan, you could have easily believed that 6 or 7 different guys won that race. The
right?
At one point it looked like Mir, then JP Leclerc, and then all of a sudden Thrall was back. We had him dead for a long time there. I
thought Ray was gone. I thought it was I was done. It was over.
No chance that Ray got caught. Well, that is quite a way to wrap up the Canadian Esports National Championship. Can you imagine most of his teammates are either Canadian, but mostly American in this case. And next, presented by Insured, now has the title belt in the United States and Canada with their next Insured team. That's a big
there's
one
the moment.
Thomas Thrall.
There's the moment right here of heartbreak. The heartbreak.
Well, his legs must have been absolutely burning at that moment. So Thrall third then as they make that catch. And this is where it certainly looked like JP Leclerc, the restart rider, had timed it all right. Warren Mir then right there as well. Absolutely incredible. Brignall and Harris still part of the conversation. Got to give Jeremy Ray a credit for an incredibly brave move. He committed to that attack. It was from about 4K out, and it certainly, I thought it was the race-winning move without any doubt.
I thought it was too. Here he is, and you can see the moment, actually. It comes up. It's a little bit in the future here, but it comes up, and you can just see that moment. Head goes down. No, it was such a valiant move, wasn't it, Dave? I mean, it really was. It was such a valiant move.
It's interesting because it's another Canadian, Gordon Lightfoot, that in one of his songs says heroes often fail, right? That's part of the process of a hero's journey, is how you respond to the failure. In this case, that it's really, really fascinating when you look at how brave you have to be to attack a bike race that's with this quality of competition. So one thing's for sure, Jeremy Ray's got a ton of heart and courage, and he'll have great results. But today belongs to Thomas Thrall. That's got to be the sweetest national championship victory possible, with Warren Mir coming through for silver and Brignall in for bronze. Leclerc 4th, Harris 5th. Wow. What a feeling.
Look at him. Look at the celebration. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Oh, the family with him. That's
I'm sure that the baby there isn't quite as aware, but mom certainly is of how much work goes into this. That's awesome.
No, that's the coach. That's little coach. We call those little coaches.
There you go.
That's the one who gets it done.
So he's a dirt as well, a dad indoors riding trainer. Says Thomas Thrall, congratulations. How sweet it is to be Canadian National Esports Champion. Warren Meir will be back as Warren taking silver today. Benjamin Brignall, there's a name to remember, as Benjamin ending up with the bronze medal today in third. JP Leclerc for fourth. Patrick Harris, that's certainly a notable ride from Patrick, and I anticipate a lot of big-time results for Mr. Harris there from Toronto Hustle in fifth. Connor Wilson ending up in sixth. Simon Gingras in seventh. Enrique Martins in eighth. Sam Josh ninth. And Owen Harris rounds out our top 10 here for our elite men at the Canadian Esports Championships.
And let's see if perhaps we might be able to get a word with Thomas. Let's see if he can hear us. Tom, can you hear us okay? I'm just going to double check.
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We got you, Thomas. Wow, that was quite the effort there. Pretty amazing.
I have to say, Thomas, we had at one point written you off after trying to bridge up to Jeremy Ray's late attack. How did you keep believing in yourself for that finale?
I don't know, to be honest. I got a bit discouraged when I couldn't bridge the gap, but then just said I'm just going to keep just going my pace. We had 4K to the finish. I just knew if I kept turning the legs as hard as I could, I don't know, something might happen. Maybe the group behind would catch, or the momentum of the course would carry me. And slowly the gap just started to come down, and it was kind of just a blur from there. But yeah, speechless right now. Jeremy was so strong. Everyone was so strong. It was a hard race.
So, Canadian Esports National Champion, take a minute, just a minute here, to think about what does that mean to you. You've worked incredibly hard. You're part of a really great program, but this is your moment, man. You're the Canadian champ. Tell me how that feels.
It feels amazing. A repeat from last year. This one honestly feels a little bit better. It's the first year with a new daughter. We had a work relocation. I've had some injuries, lots of time off the bike. But I don't know, it just feels sweet when it comes together at the right time, even when things don't seem to be going your way sometimes.
Did you feel like you were marked in this race coming in with such a great reputation as an esports racer? Did that work against you at all today?
But I think it always has an aspect. I think everyone had their eyes on Jeremy Ray. I don't know. That's where my sights were set. He seems to be doing well lately, and I just knew he would make a move, and I just had to try my best to stay with him. I'm also really impressed with some of these young guys. The development in Esports Canada is looking really promising. So, but yeah, I don't know if it was me being marked or if it was just the way that the race went down.
Well, let's talk about how much courage it takes to make a move like Jeremy Ray's. I mean, all respect when you see guys racing like that.
Yeah, no, that was bold. He went like he was sprinting for the finish with about 4.5K, 5K to go, and could not for the life of me close him down. I thought the race was over. I thought he was just kind of playing with us when he was slowing down, but clearly it hurt him just as much as the rest of us. But all courage to him. You have to make moves like that if you want to win races big. So I appreciate it.
Well, Thomas, as we say congratulations, I can only imagine that the maple syrup endorsement deals are going to come pouring in for you now. So congratulations. Don't forget the little people.
Yeah, no, I would love that. I've always got a few bottles on stocked up.
Sounds good. Hey, congratulations, Thomas. Back to you, Nathan.
Yeah, congratulations, Thomas. Thank you so much for the time, and wow, it's great to see the family. Love to hear the kiddos in the background. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about here at Zwift, and sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a class act as well. One of the really great guys in our community. So it's nice to see. That was really the theme of the day is Zwift and esports are strong in Canada. That's for sure. Thanks to everybody for really, really what these national championships have become a pure joy to be a part of, Nathan, because you really feel it, don't you? It matters to these athletes. And when it matters, it's even that much more special.
That's right. Well, it's been a ton of fun broadcasting these for everybody. The hype was real and it delivered. At the end of the day, we've crowned our 2 national champions, Michelle Gagnon and Thomas Thrall, for 2024. For full results, you can head to Cyclisme Canada. Those should be up with them in the next 24 hours or so. They were really quick, actually, with the Masters yesterday, so be on the watch out for those if you're looking for the full results. Coming up on Zwift Community Live, you can always join us. We're live a ton throughout the week for some racing, so head on over to ZwiftCommunityLive.com or head on over to our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to catch Z Racing tomorrow. We're right back at it tomorrow, aren't we, Dave?
We sure are. Looking forward to another big week of racing. But Nathan, thanks again for all your hard work behind the scenes to make this one special. And congratulations to all of our freshly minted Canadian national champions. That's a really, really special day.
Be on the watch out for them in-game. They will have in-game jerseys to signify their national championship. So definitely give them a congratulations. Give them a ride on. Send them a message. Let them know that you are proud of their effort that they displayed out here today. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. From Dave and I at Zwift Community Live, we appreciate you all, and ride on.